Hello, folks.
And we're
you
live?
are witness. Yeah, we're on, man. We are on. We are so on right now. I feel on fire. I feel like I should have meditated. As I saw you do that, I was like, I should have meditated before this.
Should have centered myself.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. Yeah, but we are now in episode 135 of Ruse Radio, folks. We got a very special guest here. Special guest. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Jake Edgar is my name.
Edgar is your name. And what do you do for the folks who are seeing? They saw your face. They clicked this video. They're like, who is this man?
Yeah. Who's this guy?
Who is this guy?
He's, you could... Once upon a time, I would have just said comedian outright, but I think I know better at this point just to say open mic comic.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what do you say?
Open mic comic. I'm not getting booked like that. I wouldn't. I don't want to sell myself long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you get booked, dude? What's the process?
I wouldn't know, but I see these people doing it out here, and it's good for them.
I can tell you what I've been told. I can tell you like what they tell me. Yes, that's exactly what they say.
Yeah.
They say, but I think it's more than that. I think it's also like, it's who you know, like everything is.
Yeah.
Like, because I do something like this, I'm getting to know a bunch of people, and I can just see it. Like, that's how it works.
And I'm not social the way that I wish I was whenever I go out to... I used to be so fucking extroverted. Whenever I was in college and I was doing this, I'd be so happy to say I was almost always the first person at the bar, and it was a small scene. So everybody that comes in, give them one of these, and then they go up straight to the bar, and I'm sitting right there with them. And everybody smoked, too, and that was my... Okay, that was my hustle that I'd be like, you want a cigarette? That's good for quality time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, Missouri cigarettes were like $7-8 for a pack. So I would it would never feel like I feel the money going out of my pocket whenever I hand them to somebody. Just be like, this is networking.
With the guys at the bar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are other comics, you know.
Yeah,
it's not just every schmuck that walks that way.
That's funny, like, using cigarettes as, like, dude, do you use cigarettes? Like, I use my business cards. Like, I'll approach someone with a business card and be like, hey, my name is Ruse, blah, 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 blah. You just do it with the cigarette. You like, hey, you want a cigarette? Oh, by the way, my name is da-da-da. Like, very nice strategy. But that is, like, you don't do that anymore.
No, well, nobody smokes really in this city, you know? It's pretty rare, I feel. Few and far in between the smokers are.
I think it's kind of like phasing out.
Yeah, it is phasing out. People are vaping now, and that ain't me.
I don't think vaping is even necessarily better. It's, you know, like,
I don't think it is either.
Smoking...
That's why I started smoking.
You might be better off.
Actually, no, I started smoking because I remember whenever I was in high school, those Truth Orange commercials were running rampant, and like the real cost commercials, you know what I'm talking about? It's the ones that are like, these are the dangers of smoking. They make it look really daunting, and I'm like, I will take it upon myself to ensure that these commercials do not eradicate teenage smoking.
Yeah, right.
And now I'm just an adult that smokes, so I mean, like, I could quit any time, and I could still consider myself victorious, but I do love a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
I still do.
I know.
And I smoke like 1 to 3 a day. If I'm pretty drunk, then...
Rookie numbers.
Like, I know, right? Yeah, but I'm on year 8 of being a smoker, so it has not really gone up.
Since, like, you've always been at that rate?
Yeah. Yeah. Can't be doing it all the time. Jesus.
See,
and they still give me a headache also. I gotta be like, the conditions have to be correct. I can't be like going to or coming from lunch, otherwise it'll all hit me at once. Or like, you ever like light one up whenever you're walking like back from like your car to your place, and then as soon as you're done and you've put it out and you've stopped moving, like you reach for the doorknob and you're finally stationary, and like then you feel it hit, like it goes from your head to your entire body, and you just need to veg in a way that is so, it's unproductive and it's uncomfortable. Not to say that I'm like the king of production or anything, productivity, but I can be impeded by a cigarette pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, that's what vaping was to me. Like, I vaped before I ever smoked cigarettes, and that's why I can't even, like, my mentality when I have that is to just do that until I reach the state you just described. Like, to just sit there and vape and vape and vape and vape and then be like, oh,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, in this state of bliss that is not bliss at all.
Yeah. And I can't say that like I've never vaped, because whenever I was in college, it was huge. Like Juul was blowing up my freshman year at college, so everybody in the dorms had them. And we'd all just be sitting around like begging each other for puffs. And it would just be, I remember the phrase that we all said like more often than any other would be, just let me get a buzz. Like, just let me get a buzz. Dude, I didn't even get a buzz yet. Tedious. Annoying. But you get that buzz and it's like, all right, I'll be back in 8 minutes for another.
Yeah. And it'd be nicotine, right? Because I was gonna say tobacco, nicotine, but it's tobacco and nicotine. How does that? Nicotine's the chemical in tobacco.
Yeah, that's the one that gives you the buzz, and tobacco is the analog version, as opposed to like heated up nickel or whatever is in salt nick.
And that, salt nicks, those are crazy.
Yeah,
those I never fucked with those.
My friends got to be like borderline broke during their vaping habits, and they would start refilling Juul pods with salt nick.
Yep.
Yeah, that was part of the culture for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember because disposables would stop working, and I remember like watching YouTube videos to try to figure out how you could like reuse.
I remember getting really disappointed whenever everybody moved to disposables, because
too.
I've already a nicotine purist, I guess, like an analog nicotine smoker. And then whenever it went for, like, I could at least see, like, how cool a vape look anyway.
You mean like a mod? You're talking about it's like a mod, right?
I'm
like
talking, no. I mean,
like
even just like a Juul, because you could refill the pods, or even then, like, you'd throw away the pods, but they're just like these little things, It's the plastic equivalent of a cigarette butt. It's like, I'm doubting that's actually no. Those were a huge source of litter.
Yeah,
those have been phased out a little bit, and you don't really see like disposables like lining the gutters and streets the way you do cigarette butts or Juul pods in a college town.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I remember the first disposable I think I saw was a Stig. Do you remember the Stig?
No.
It was like, it's this minimalist little like plastic peg that had like that little curve down there for you to like put your lips on, and it's stubby. And I remember being like, cringe. I don't like this. This doesn't look good. And then they moved on and they started looking a little bit cooler, but I'm partial to the aesthetic of a Juul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm nostalgic for them now.
It's like a Game Boy Advance, like
and
it's
I
cool
also respected the mod itself. I like, if you're going to go through all the trouble of doing of like trying to get like casually, not high, but like get a buzz like that. It's cool. It's this thing that you have to maintain it, and like parts will run out. I need a new coil or whatever.
Yeah.
I've never bought a vape product for myself, but there's some forms of the game that I did respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would teach you some life lessons for sure. Those coils, dude. I would buy coils, and
how much were they?
Be like for two, because first of all, it depends on the I was fucking with mods, like I told you.
Yeah.
So
and we got to wrap this conversation up fast, because it isn't interesting. It's conversational, and I can talk about it. But I feel the camera's presence.
No, there are people that are listening to this conversation, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Screaming at their monitor.
They're realizing that someone else went through the same level of. You know what I think it is with podcasts? I think people will. It's like a good demonstration that people will truly listen to anything. Because I know when I listen to podcasts, dude. I listen to people talk about anything.
I am along for the ride.
I don't even give a fuck about.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Like, they sound interested. So when I'm filming, I give myself just enough, because I've heard people say things like that. They're like, I don't know if we should keep talking about this. I'm like, dude, like, I don't think it matters. We could talk about literally anything right now. We could talk about squirrel feet, and people will listen to this.
Yeah. Well,
like, the bar is not high.
I got a thing or two to say about squirrel feet.
Yeah, we'll get on that.
Yeah.
But where was I in my, before that? Oh, dude, what the fuck was it? What was I just saying?
Coils.
So you go and get those coils, and you would try to you would get them, and so it tasted so bad when you hit that.
Oh, yeah.
And like it was burnt, a burnt coil.
I remember.
Like, you're going to fuck throw it up. It's that bad. It hurts. Okay?
And I've never understood the physics of that either.
Now, I'm no physicist. We'll get a physicist in here, and we'll get somebody to explain the physics of vaping, but that's not what we're here to talk about right now.
It just made me think. When I was saying all of this, I was going down memory lane, and it's funny how that happens. How a bunch of memories will come flooding back to you, all those vape days, all those cloudy memories popping back into my brain. It's crazy how memories can take you to another place and blow your mind. And I think that when somebody gets you in such a state, when somebody can get you to go down memory lane, that person has officially qualified as a professional mind blower. I think we all can get each other to feel some type of way sometimes, take each other down memory lane. That's what you should do. You should seek to get people to explore their own minds. That's how you can blow other people's minds all the time. And I think everybody's capable of being a professional mind blower. And I think that if you want to let the world know that's what you are, which you are one, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, you are one. You might as well get a t-shirt that says what you are. Professional mind blower, folks. That's what we all are, and we've got the shirts to prove it. Smalls, mediums, larges. We can make more sizes if you so please. $25 for a shirt, and it's a great way for you to support this show. I really appreciate you guys. I really love being able to do this, bringing people in. We're doing an episode every 3 days, and the only way I can continue to highlight the beauties of everybody's personalities, the mind blowers of the world, well, I need your help, and that's how we do it. So cop yourself a shirt. Join the Coop Troop. You are a chicken. You are a rooster, and we love you. Speaking of my chickens and my roosters, guys, I've got a show March 15th coming up. Tim Perez and Friends. You can see the poster on the screen. Make sure you come out and support. I'm doing 15 minutes, and I'm going to kill it. Super exciting. I've got the set list ready, and I'm ready to tear the house down. So make sure you're there. For real, it's going to be an experience. All the other artists are great. Shout out Tim Perez and Gorilla Taco Party for putting the show together. Tim Perez is the man. He's a friend of the show. He's been on here twice. He's a super amazing artist in his own right. Him and I have a song coming out soon called Confessionals. So check out Tim Perez's work. Keep an eye out for that song, and maybe I'll see you March 15th at the show, the St. Patrick's Day Massacre. That's right. Now, you want to support the show. You can't make it out to that show, but you want to support this show. Well, I've got something for you. There's one more thing that you can do to let us know that you're down with the crown. You are in with the king, with the ring, and that is Patreon, folks. You like what we're doing here, you want to support us, Patreon. It's $5 a month, the price of a coffee, the price of a beer at the bar, and you let us know that you love what we're doing, and you help us make this bigger and better, because that's the goal. I want this show to be, I want to have Matthew McConaughey on here, okay? I want the staples of the industry sitting in my bedroom, and the only way that is possible is with your continued support. So seriously, if you like this show, if you support what I'm doing, if you like the idea behind what's happening here, please consider joining that Patreon. I have exclusive content on there. I drop my music early, some music you'll only ever hear on the Patreon, as well as some exclusive podcast content, some exclusive behind-the-scenes content. All that stuff is right there on the Patreon. I mean, really, it's about supporting this show, guys. If you like what this is, seriously, let me know, because it means the world to me, and it keeps this happening, and I want this to keep happening forever. Again, episode every 3 days. The only way that's sustainable is through your support. So thank you guys for supporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you all the guests for coming through. This show is impossible without everybody else. It's a group effort, and it takes a village. Now, we ain't talking about all that, though. We talking about vapes, baby.
So you're supposed to set it, or like prime it. Prime it's what it's called. And you get the juice that you're gonna use.
Like it's a fucking leaf blower.
Yeah. And you drip the juice into the coil. And then when you do that, I think you have to wait like 5, 10, 15 minutes. You put that into the vape, and then you hit it, and it's like you just gotta hope. It's like a 50-50 chance. But keep in mind, I'm somebody who still can't even tie their shoes properly, all right? I'll think I have my shoes tied properly, and then I'm outside, and 15 minutes later, my shoes aren't tied.
You know what a hack I found was, whenever it came to doing a bad job of tying my shoes, is that, like, you do the traditional bunny ears, if we're talking about anything here. And, like, if they're too short, you can let one of those shoestrings not form a bunny ear. You can get a one-eared bunny. And you can secure it nice and tight, and you don't have to worry about them being like two little stubby ends on the side. Really? That extra one, you can give it like an extra tug, and if it's already short, it's not going to come down so far that you're stepping on it. Don't have to. I'll show you later.
Show me later, dude, but I
Yeah.
still think I'll fuck it up. Like, I'm telling you, I just can't tie my shoes. It drives me crazy. I'm like, I can write a
That's
great rap
embarrassing.
song. I can write an awesome rap song.
You're a
but
man
I
with
can't...
a mustache.
Yeah.
You maintain that thing. And still, every morning before you leave, it's like, damn it.
I'll be in the middle of going somewhere. And
I shouldn't have skipped that day of second grade.
I couldn't swim for a while either.
Really?
Till like 4th or 5th grade. Yeah.
Well, you know, that's largely a regional thing.
I had a swimming pool in my backyard, okay?
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong
And we
with
had
me.
shoes out the wazoo in my house, too. Wasted opportunity. Well, you know what? Because at that age, you were focused on your bars, you know? That was
Well-
the craft you were trying to hone.
Yeah.
Age 10,
You could say that.
in your room.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
dreaming of
Fucking,
being...
I feel like, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, so yeah, Recovery by Eminem would have come out just at about that time.
I did love that album.
Yeah.
I like that album, but like...
Everybody our age, Not Afraid was like an anthem for boys under the age of 10. I'm not afraid to stand up to Miss Falkenstein.
That's so funny. I like that song. Listening to it now, it's like you couldn't drop that song now. Like that 2010
think
era
so?
of music. No, not in the same way. No,
I guess I'm only thinking of Not Afraid.
because it was popular. Like, I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
You know, like people would jam to that
I
on
don't
the
even
radio.
think you peaked whenever you did that. That's crazy.
Yeah, oh, dude. You fuck with Shure SM7Bs, dude.
I don't know anything about a podcast mic.
Even for
I've
recording
seen
music,
Shure's used before. I see them recommended all the time.
they're awesome.
That's like the pod mic, isn't it?
This is the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the one that you see. Like,
I have seen them recommended in comment sections before.
$400, which is like
For one or two?
for one. That's an investment, but I'm
It's
telling
an investment.
you,
That's
it's
okay.
worth
I've
it.
invested in shit before.
Yeah, cameras.
I only have one camera.
Really?
Yeah, that was I got my dad gave me my camera upon graduation from college. And I was like, all right, this will be the last nice thing that I ever ask my parents for.
Camera.
And I have held true to that. And now everything that I get for like my own cinematographic, yeah, that's it, adventures, I'm laying down my own money on.
Yeah, I mean, was that like as a personal like choice, like as a venture into your future in a way, or like what was the thought behind that? You know, like not like that's the last thing you're asking them for. What was?
I don't want to go into like my career and be like a daddy's boy.
Yeah.
Like, that's embarrassing.
So
you know?
like, what do you do with like what all do you do? Like, do you just film? Like, I don't understand.
I have been, I realized shortly after getting to Chicago, like, well, I mean, for one, I didn't, the first thing I ever did to try and make money with a camera in Chicago was I would go to shows upon, like, request from one person that's like, hey, can you tape my set? Like, I put out a Facebook ad, and then I had one dude. You ever have Jonathan Dunn on the show before?
No.
Gifted comedian. He's fucking hilarious.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, go figure. He's this Australian guy who I believe is also Chinese.
His name is Go Figure.
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying
No.
another
This
guy.
is Jonathan
I thought there was a
Dunn.
second guy you were bringing up named Go Figure. Go Figure. He's Australian, but also Chinese. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, that's a crazy name for an
Wow,
Australian guy.
I'm trying to figure out the etymology because with Australian and Chinese in the same thing, figure would be a crazy amalgamation of like A's and U's and R's. Yeah.
My mind was really boggled. for a moment.
Garfigure. Yeah.
Garfigure would
Yeah.
be like the
Yeah,
correct enunciation.
But the letters also have like those little things on top of them and below them.
That's what I'm going to name my future child, Garfigure.
Yeah.
Just so
He'll
that's
have
actually-
friends.
That could be my separate.
That won't
stage
even
name.
be weird by the time you have kids.
You're right.
Names are bad at this point.
Yeah.
We're in a bad state right now as far as baby names go. But so I would tape comics and then I would sell them their videos back for $5. And that would be like my first hustle. And then after a short while, I stopped getting work, I think because the videos were bad. I was trying to do too much. Really, if you only have one camera, you just got to set it. 'Cause
What were you doing?
I was like zooming in and trying to follow them. And like, I had two lenses and they're both dynamic. So I had like a like a 27 to 100 millimeter or something in that range. I still can't remember the specs on it. And then it was like a 75 to 300 millimeter. And if I was just a little bit too far back that I couldn't get like a close up, I'd stick the 300 one on there and I'd be zooming in. But any little adjustment you make is like such a drastic difference because like it's honed in so far. It's like
You mean like the focus?
Not the focus, no, just like the frame. Like it's like shooting a gun at that point and you're just a little ways off and it's like the bullet's gonna go way the fuck over there because any little adjustment like it's gonna go in a big different direction.
Yeah. Right.
So it would just be like shaky footage and like, oh look, his face isn't even in it for like a second while I'm trying to make it quality, but really I'm making it like abhorrent and I'm sure that people regretted giving me even $5 for it. Like yeah. So
you're not
after
giving yourself any style points? You're not no style points at all?
I won't. No, I won't. I won't. And you know, it's amateur shit. It gives amateur even after getting like a degree with it.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
I feel like if you did like a multicam version of that, it could be cool.
If it was multicam, it'd be great.
Yeah.
And we are doing multicam stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the project that you saw me with a little while back.
But do you do like one stable shot and then another? Do you still do like a, what do we call that? Not stable. What's the other one? Dynamic shots.
Yeah.
You do both?
With different cameras.
Yes, what I mean.
Yeah. And it frees you up to be able to like, you know, say for a second, this shot over here isn't good on the one that I'm moving around a little bit. That's what the stable one is for.
Exactly.
You can always rely on that one to cut back to. But go figure, whenever you set one there for a little while, like people move around a lot on stage. If they even move forward a little bit, it's like if they're talking, say this is the frame and they're speaking in this direction. So they're going back and forth this way. You want them to be on this side of the frame. So it's like they're talking to the empty side of the frame just because that's what looks good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, in podcasts, that's like the rule. It's like you're supposed to shoot this way with you on the left. Like if I was doing 3 cameras,
yes,
this way with you on the left, this way with me on the right.
And it's implied that the audience is toward the void. But so now if they're over here and there's all this empty space behind them, that makes for a bad shot because it's like, why are they so close to the front of the frame? I don't know. I don't know if that's a rule or if I just think it looks weird, but I think that anybody would look at it and be like, this is either sloppy or maybe sloppy is just the only word for it.
Yeah. And how does that apply to like when you're shooting people on stage then? Like what are you thinking like when you're framing it and all that?
If they are speaking into the mic and they're looking in this direction, then you want like the direction that they're facing to have some open space in front of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If they close in over here and then there's just stuff behind them, like, and it's not even anything, it's just like space usually, because a lot of the time like rooms are not decorated too interestingly to the point that just like the nothing that's going on back here is interesting to look at.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We're in the weeds.
Well, I'm just thinking about it because like say for any reason, like you have to shoot something, you always want to come up with like a like I think that's what makes certain people better at doing things. They have a better like creative vision. They have a better way of interpreting what could be done here.
Yeah.
You know, like that's why a great director is a great director because they know how to curate a great experience of a movie.
And that's why I knew almost immediately that like if I wanted to get any work in like the media production field, directing was not going to be mine. There's too many people that are good at it and there's too many people that want to be that. So we're just saturated with directors right now. So the only thing that I've really like expensed money on lately is lighting equipment. I'm trying to be like a gaffer around here.
You were telling me about that.
Yeah.
That's like a necessary. It's almost like
it's super necessary if you're doing anything professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you see our light situation right here. We got 3 simple lights.
Yeah.
You probably would have some great advice for me on how to really.
Well, you know what? I mean, you're bouncing them off of stuff, which like kind of illuminates the room at large, which is good. You know, like the light that's over there, it's not pointing directly at us because it would be too hot.
Yup.
You know.
Yeah,
exactly.
I just whenever you put it right on your face, it just looks terrible on a camera. Yeah, you just point a camera at your face and try it.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, like whenever I film stuff, because I'll do the podcast ad sitting in that chair, and it's always in the same spot. It's just you don't want to point it right at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you're right. If I just keep it bounced like that. But it's like, don't you think if you had like one giant diffused light right in front of us or something,
If it
that
was
would look
diffused,
better.
it would be a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was diffused.
That's what I
But,
mean,
I
though.
mean, that's a whole nother expense. Because if you're getting like a quality light, probably going to spend like at least like 500 or something on it. Yeah, right?
I thought you were gonna say 200.
Well, actually, no. I mean, I spent 300 on a really quality light recently. Yeah. But
I was checking. I didn't peek again. I was like, did I peek there? No, I still didn't.
there you go.
I went, whoo, I went far away. But yeah, you said you spent how much?
I spent 300 on one, and that was with a deal. Okay. Was it? Oh, shit. It might have been 5. It might have been 5. But I
With
mean,
the deal? With the sale, it was 5?
With the sale, it was 5, yeah. Because it was well, you see, it's a 300 watt light, and not only is it a lot of times you buy lights and it's either a bicolor LED or it's an RGB LED, and if it's bicolor, that means that it can be like it'll go across the spectrum of like super warm light to super cold light. So it can either do like that tungsten, like these light bulbs up here that are more orangey.
Yeah.
And it can go like very orange, not super, but like pretty orange. Or it can be like that white one over there where it's like, it kind of gives that like fluorescent, you wouldn't call it office lighting because it's not quite the same, but it's about the same tone.
When the tone matters too, right?
Yeah.
Like I would imagine a light
Matters
like,
differently for different scenes, you know. Like the orange kind of gives an intimate thing. The white one is like, let's say it's harsh, but it gives corporate America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or some people just like that lighting in their home, and it's fine, you know, if that's the look that they're going for. But usually they'll probably have it. You'll see that in a place with like gray walls and maybe even like gray carpet. Yeah.
And the light you bought was what on that spectrum? What was it? The one, the $500, $300 one.
The $500, $300 one was an RGB. So that's
you can go any which way, is what you're saying, right?
No. With an RGB, that's red, green, blue. So it can do any color on the spectrum.
That's what I mean. You can go back and forth. Like you could switch the color. It is.
Yes. Yeah. And not just like traditional lighting colors, like the temperature of the light. Like you can do like fuchsia. You can do neon green.
See, I can see why you would want something like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I have one of those, and it's the least powerful of the big lights that I have. And then I got 2 more. One's a 500 and one's a 650.
Okay.
Yeah. And those guys are fucking powerhouses.
Yeah?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Like
it's
they
great.
just light up a space. Like they're really. What do you mean when you say powerhouse? Like it's just like
so
the fucking
much,
sun
so
is in
much
here?
fucking light. Yeah. No, like your eyes are really gonna fucking hurt. Even if you look into the 300, it's significant. Like you can do eye damage.
I see. And if even something like that, right? Because I just have like 2. What do you call those? Work lights. I think you call them work lights. The long ones. I think.
Maybe I don't. Sometimes you just call them a tube light, but that one there, if you removed it from the shell that it's in, you'd call it a tube light. But I mean, it almost just looks like a pool table light, you know, whenever it has that thing on top of it.
Sort of, yeah. It does look like a pool light.
Yeah.
Pool table light. But yeah, 2 of those, and then I got like a regular light bulb. I bet one of what you just described would be like 2 times as powerful if I just had it right over there. 3 times as powerful, right? Like it's that good of a light.
Yeah.
It's like 10 lights combined into one.
Yeah. I don't know what the wattage is on that thing.
It's probably low, yeah. It's probably
I
not
wouldn't
that
guess
high.
that it's more than like 60 or something like that.
Yep, I think you're right. You're right. I got it in Michigan. I don't think they have anything like it here, but there was something called liquid bidding, and so you could get a bunch of just random stuff for super cheap prices because it was all auction stuff. So I think
cool.
like I got 4 of those.
Oh, wow.
For like $20.
I'd like to look into liquid bidding.
Yeah, this mirror here. This mirror's a $90 mirror. I got it for $10.
So you can just get fucking anything.
Random shit. But it's just
that.
whatever they have.
I love random shit, but we only got so much space. And we're about to move again, I think. So
Where are you moving to?
literally probably right across the street.
Oh, okay. You're not
Yeah.
going anywhere far.
Yeah, and I wanted to have moved somewhere far by the end of this lease cycle. With this next one ending, that would make 4 years in Chicago. And I quite like it up here, but I'm a little ready to move on. That's the headspace that I've been at, and I've been stressing my girlfriend out over it.
Why? Because she's like, no.
She doesn't know how bad she wants to move.
Move where? Missouri?
No. It's a different region, you know?
Region of like you're
Of like the United States. So it's
when
like,
you say that, you mean like another major city though, or
yeah. Yeah. Definitely another major city. I wouldn't like to go like to the country again. I've spent my time. I've paid my dues. And I like it, and I really find the charm in it now. Like, I hated being from rural America whenever I was a kid.
Yeah.
But like a little ways after you become an adult, it's like, you know what? Maybe that was one of the more valuable experiences that one can have to understand middle America.
Yeah. Well, I think like when you see people who grew up in a city, coming from a more rural environment, it gives you so much perspective.
Yeah. Huge perspective.
Like, because they don't see what you're seeing. Like, they've never been in that environment. Like, they really think that this bubble is the way everywhere is.
It takes a lot more time to develop to get like a sense of the value of rural America. It, like, you look at it, and if you're from the city, it's like, this place sucks. Yeah. It's covered in Trump signs. It's, there's nothing to do here. It's visibly poor, like, everywhere. But also, I mean, whenever you're from there, you stop looking for things like that, like the things that really pop out, and it becomes more about, like, the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, the rolling hills of northern Missouri are so stunning to me. But, whenever you get to Chicago, it's like the gratification is immediate. It's like, look at this beautiful city. Wow, look at all these amazing, like, glossy buildings and these old ones, and just, like, the infrastructure is something to behold, and the public transportation is amazing. You don't have that there, but you do have, like, just sources of fresh water everywhere, and, like, nice creeks and stuff. Whenever I was in, like, 6th or 7th grade, my neighbors and I started walking to like this creek that was like a mile away from where we lived. We had to like cross a couple of people's property, and we lived on the edge of town. So like you pass that, and then there's this creek that's over there that nobody is ever at, because why would be? One, it's on private property. Two, it's not like there's much. It's just like a stream. But that would be our entertainment. We would just walk up and down it for a while and do like some light exploring. Yeah, and my hope was always to find a dead body or like something crazy, and then it could be like, now it's an adventure. Because whenever you're a kid and there's nothing going on,
like
it's
that
like
movie, Stand By Me.
That's exactly, yeah, precisely.
Like you want to be the kid in the movie,
yeah. Or like I think one time we found like a truck back in there, and it's like, what's the fucking story? Yeah, we never tried to get into the truck, but there were a couple of vehicles, or like a refrigerator, and it's like, how did they even get that in here?
Yeah. It's like when you find like a bike in a tree,
Yeah, right? It's like, what an elaborate way to litter.
Yeah, right.
But I will say, in a way, it's adding to the beauty right now.
Yeah, like it actually, like when it's overgrown, or when it's like, you definitely been there.
Whenever like, whenever like plastic has sat in nature for so long that like new life has started to develop on it. Like weird spores have started growing and it's like mossy, and it's like, wow, would you look at that? Nature can adapt to almost anything really given the right conditions.
It really can. In this weird way, it's like a circle of life almost. Like you probably created new life somehow by putting the plastic there. Maybe you attracted some worms to the area. I feel like
there's got to be, and this is not like I'm optimistic about trash in the ocean or anything, but I feel like there's got to be stuff that can grow on top of it. Mm-hmm. Life largely prevails. I mean, humanity's still probably fucked as soon as those oceans die, but like, just because there's not fish that we can eat after a while that's in them doesn't mean that there aren't other things that'll probably evolve after some time.
Like you could
philosophy majors here.
I like that because like you're thinking positively, you're thinking optimistically, you're thinking like how things could be progressive and grow, right?
It's like that, that George Carlin bit about it's like the Earth is not fucked. Humanity is fucked.
The Earth will be fine.
The Earth has been around for so long before us, and it'll be here long after.
It's a great point.
We're not going to be able to make... Yeah, that actually really helped me get out of, like, a doomer funk whenever I was in college. Whenever I was like, you know what? Because the biggest bummer is that, like, all the animals die, and the oceans die, and, like, all this beautiful land is like just has like a layer of plastic on top of it, but that doesn't mean that some things won't still be able to thrive amidst like a sea of empty bottles.
Yeah, dude, robots. It's gonna be robots or something, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
What's gonna beat us? Like, it could be robots or aliens. I mean, we got orbs in the sky now.
Yeah.
Some's gonna
Or
surpass
just
us.
like non-sentient life, like
Like what,
basic, like I don't know, like micro bears and shit. You know, like little things, and then it'll all probably re-evolve after a
I
while.
see. So all the humans go away and it just resets.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
well,
I
that makes perfect sense.
I
yeah.
mean, with AI, it's kind of easy to have that like Futurama thing where it's like the robots might outlast us. Like, yeah, they might still figure out ways to keep themselves going.
Well, you know what's funny about that is like iRobot was a movie like 12 years ago.
I never saw iRobot.
Me neither, but I just like looking at what the movie is. Like,
They
just
watched
pictures.
it in a science class, I remember. Like in like
They
in,
were
like
warning
the
you.
lower like the lower tier science classes, the ones that were easier to pass. They showed iRobot at one point, and I was like, this is a physical science class. I don't think that it's. I don't think that's related at all to the human interior. Or maybe I haven't seen iRobot. Maybe it's got.
Maybe it is.
Maybe the character's like Cyborg from Teen Titans or something, and there's a little bit of biology to talk about there, perhaps.
Maybe. I don't know. I wonder what they were saying about it. Like,
Not a big Will Smith guy.
No. I'm trying to think of Will Smith movies that I really liked. There's got to be one. I mean, I watched Fresh Prince when I was younger, and I liked watching it, of course. You can't hate all of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Some of it's good.
Oh, I wouldn't say I hate it by any means. I remember that was like a Nick at Night show, but go figure, whenever you're like in rural America and there's only white people, it's like something about a black story is not as gripping to me as it was for larger America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not participating in black media whenever I was younger.
I think
Much
my brother.
to my own disappointment later on.
Yeah, now like you're making me think about it. Like I'm pretty sure my brother probably played some influence in that because he listened to rap music,
Yeah.
so I would hear that. That's probably a big part of like my introduction to everything.
Yeah,
I mean, I grew up right next to Flint. I grew up in Swartz Creek, Michigan, which is like right next to Flint.
by
And then I
Flint,
moved into
okay.
Flint, and then I moved here. But like you'll get a whole lot of black
I think
culture.
you've told
in
me that you're
Flint.
from Flint before.
Yeah.
That's wild.
When
How are they
COVID
doing up
happened,
there?
someone got shot at a Dollar General down the street from my house.
Yeah.
Because like some mask dispute. But it was like literally right when COVID started, like within the first 2 months. It was national news, I'm pretty sure. Someone gets shot at Dollar
Yeah.
General. I was like, oh my God, that's down the road.
Yeah, and it's like, this is probably unrelated to COVID. This kind of just sounds like Dollar General culture.
That's
more
what I was
than
thinking. They don't
anything
know
else.
Flint. They don't know Flint, dude. That's why it goes down.
Yeah. Yeah, what else do you think happens in a Dollar General parking lot? There was a shooting at the Dollar General in our hometown.
Exactly.
Some years ago.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was right around COVID. Also. Yeah. I'm sure it was completely unrelated. COVID hardly affected Middle America. Honestly, it just pissed everybody off.
Yeah, you could say
Yeah.
that much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably pissed everybody off.
Yeah.
That's the real
And even
uproar.
so, go figure, like, their lives almost not affected at all. It's like a
Yeah.
looming threat that, like, those people didn't want to believe in. But, I mean, go
Yeah.
figure, like, they were having, like, relatives die.
See, I didn't have any family members die, but I did like I feel like it made me go sort of crazy just in the sense that I was like, because I was so in my house all the time, I became an insane person. Like,
Yeah.
It made me
See?
realize, oh, I do have to go outside. Like if you lock me inside for too long, I will go crazy.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people say, but like in Missouri, the pandemic, and I was in college too, but like it was a small enough area that, I mean, even, you know, we had to like start doing like online classes and stuff. But beyond that, like our social lives were largely unaffected. And like in college, we had a house and our neighbors right next door to us were our age. And we already had like our best friend living right there. You know, that was our pod, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot of change. But also, like, that was one of the first states to roll back. Like,
right.
yeah, what lockdown.
Yeah,
rules.
because that's really like where you'd get affected. Because it's like I remember in Canada there was like they went crazy with it at one point. It was like there was a family gathering of like 15 people and there were these cops there. It's
Yeah.
like, bruh.
Yeah.
It seems like a bit much.
That was the thing. I remember, yeah, and we were still going to parties and stuff and totally risking our lives and the lives of people around us.
Yeah.
So that we could go party.
Well, that was like because I mean like I feel like 6 months to a year is when all that really like hit the peak. Like went from like 2020 to 2021 is when all of that went crazy. Because I think like
By the end of
did they lose?
2020, we were like even worse off than we were in
definitely.
in April.
But you're with Missouri though. When did they loosen the rules and all that? When did they do that?
I remember they put us on lockdown in March, and like the bar that I was doing stand up at was like, all right, guess we got to start embracing like these Zoom mics or whatever. And then it was by either June or July. I think it was June. The bar had opened back up, and we were all doing masks, and I was wearing gloves and stuff.
Yeah.
But we were all sitting there with open containers still.
Doing open mics like
Yeah.
that? That's
Yeah.
like that would be such a sight to see.
Yeah.
Like a guy in gloves and a mask on stage.
Yeah.
Like it almost looks like
And I had like I did not have like rubber gloves. I had two mismatched like winter gloves.
yeah.
And I was up there wearing them. And I had this mask that they gave me at work that had like the hard wire in the front, and it was like a semi-heavy cloth that was going over my mouth, but that was my only mask for months.
Oh no.
And I was really making a punchline out of it. Like I was drinking beer through the mask on stage.
Bro, that mask has been through some shit.
I
dude.
was like hitting cigarettes through it, and so just discolored by the end of it. And you know what? It didn't even get like a proper retiring. I wish I could have kept it as like an artifact from them, but it got lost somewhere.
could have framed it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a relic
Yeah.
of a bygone era.
Memorabilia.
My first mask given to me for work.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's end of an era, man.
Where were you working during the pandemic?
I'm so lucky because I was a server right before everything went down. So I got paid to be at home for so long, dude.
Oh, really?
But again, like that's what made me go crazy. I can't do that. Like that's what I learned.
No, we're
don't
not-
want it. I you just pay me and I'll still work. Okay, just pay me and I'll still work. But don't pay me and I don't work because I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
So, but now like. I guess like if I was doing this, then it would have been different. Like I had the podcast going in the same way, because it's just isolation really. But I was a server and I did get that off. Yeah, mainly I've been a server for the last like I don't even know when I started serving. I
Yeah.
have to say like 2016.
You got good
2017.
charisma for serving.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
serving
built
energy.
For it. I'm built
Yeah.
for anything with like customer service.
I'm jealous. I wanted to be a server. I got a job at Red Lobster like shortly after COVID started. And I never got upgraded to server from busboy. Sucked. They tried to let me run the food for a little while, but honestly, I was having like not panic attacks. Some people have panic attacks. I don't get those, but I was getting real anxious looking at like the monitor up there trying to figure out what was what, especially on like a Shrimp Wednesday or something, and
Yeah.
everything has like SHRP on them, but they're all a little bit different, and I know I'm gonna fuck them up.
Oh,
Again, yeah.
Dude, I mean, like everywhere, I'm just worried. Like, oh my god, they're gonna realize I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want that job to have to do that
I
because like
was at
that
a-
sounds stressful. I imagine it was like you have to organize all this. Is what you were doing? Like you're looking at the order. Like, what do you when you're looking at that?
You gotta
putting it
put them
all-
on like the big ass trays to go deliver to people.
Yeah, that'd make me nervous.
Yeah, and
I don't
you
even like
just
doing
have
that
like
with pizzas
you
right
just
now.
have like a sea of entrees with all the same basic ingredients, and there's just like key letters and abbreviations up there that you're supposed to be able to pay attention to. I'm like, I don't know the menu that good, dude. It's Red Lobster. It's all shrimp right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people ask me questions about
I can identify a loaded baked potato because there's nothing else on the menu that has BK and PT in it, and LD. But beyond that, I worked at a hotel during the pandemic, and we were essential workers. So we put like the thing of glass right in front of it, but it didn't even go across the whole thing. It was like on this awkward plastic stand that could have been pushed over with a finger.
yeah.
Just like a little shield right there. Yeah. But they still had us working like all of our regular shifts
Pretty much the same
during
thing.
that time.
Like, that didn't change at all.
Didn't change at all.
That was right after you moved here, then, right? You said 4 years.
Oh, no. This
Right
was
before you moved here.
this was in college.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked at the hotel for 3 years in college. Started there in like late 2018 and then worked there up until like mid 21. And then it was as I was moving from my college town, like I had all my shit in my car and I stopped at the hotel to pick up my last check. Yeah.
So you worked at the hotel to the last minute, pretty much.
Last minute, dude.
That job?
Proud of it. I love that job. Honestly, I am looking for hotels in the area to apply to. It really is my line of work, I think.
Why?
I don't know. Same reason that you like serving. Like I'm built for it. Like
Why?
It's zany. It's customer service, and I like being able to actually like help people in a way that is like low impact, but it means the world to them. You know?
Right.
Yeah. You know, just like little interactions. I love being just like a quirky employee, you know, just give you like a little bit something different than every other like corporate America experience that you have.
So what did you do at the hotel then? Like when you say hotel employee, what do you mean?
I was, I did laundry for like my first not quite year there. And then they let me be a clerk. But I was still like married to the laundry room in my heart. Like, I think that I loved so much just going in there and
married to the laundry room. Like, what a combination of words.
Dude, with my headphones on, just go in there and like fold all day, like sheets and towels and, you know, and it's kind of gross, but like that was actually my first job. It was laundry at a nursing home in high school. Yeah. And then by the time I did it at the hotel, I'm like, wow, this is great. There's so much less blood and shit on all the sheets. This rocks, dude. Now there's just cum. I can deal with cum. That's not that bad. It's not like it's everywhere or anything.
It's really a lot less bad than blood and shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's less of a biohazard at that point.
Wow.
You know?
What a switch.
Yeah. And then after a while, I think I saw like 2 or 3 different manager shifts while I was there and an owner switch also. So at some point I was like the 3rd most tenured guy in the building.
Oh, you were an elder.
Yeah, I was an elder, dude. I like came with the spot. Like they wouldn't dare fire me. I know the building better than like the owners do at this point.
They're like, this guy's been here for so long.
I know. Yeah. And I'm 21.
Right.
I'm high as fuck back there. Just oh my god, it got to a point. So we were like the 3rd most broke hotel in Columbia, Missouri. So like people would go there and they could expect to pay like $60 a night.
Okay.
Usually. And so you would get people coming in just like, it would be tweakers and it would be like broke people. And then we were also the only pet friendly hotel. It was a La Quinta. So it would also just be like nice families with their dogs and stuff. And they would be
3 groups of people.
Yeah, those exact 3 groups of people. And they would be so put off as soon, but like, you can't tell that it's falling apart from a distance. Like just outside the parking lot, it's like, oh, there's our nice hotel. And then as soon as you pull up, it's like the awning in front that you pull up underneath is like caving in. And there's like tiles that are on the ground soaking wet that like maintenance is like almost too upset to even get to at this point. And I loved it. I just loved serving them with a smile amidst like, there used to be a fire alarm that went off like every day. It just people smoking in the rooms. And you'd have to go disable it before you even know whether or not there's an actual fire.
Because it's just expected. You already know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
How much did people... Was it a cheap hotel? Was it like a...
It was cheap, yeah. Yeah, $60 a night, so...
Not bad.
No, it was great.
For like a big room? Like one big room?
Like a solid room, you know, it wasn't a hostel or anything. Room with 2 beds, 2 double beds.
Okay, not bad. 2 double beds, that's not bad. You ever have any particularly strange people come through you remember at that hotel? Or you have like regulars that you remember?
Tons of regulars. Yeah, there would be people that like, there was this one lady, her name was Marlene. And
Great name.
Yeah, but she told us to call her Pocahontas.
Even better name.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was this native lady from Warsaw, Missouri, so like an hour or 2 down the highway. And her husband was a veteran, and they would come there once a month for like his VA appointments. Yeah. So she'd wheel him in there, and he was probably amicable enough, but he never had much to say to me. But she was such a talker, and we would just get to hanging out. It was nice. She gave me my prized possession. She used to keep her credit cards in this American Spirit tin It's like a tin box that you put your regular pack of cigarettes into. And I was like, that's awesome, dude. That's my brand even. That's crazy. And where'd you get that? She was like, oh, geez, I got like she had a weird lisp. She was like, I got like 100 of them at home. They used to sell them like this. But now I just keep my cards in it. I was like, man, you got like 100 of them lying around. Do you think I could like have one? She's like, everybody asked me that. But no, they're mine. And then one day I was in the laundry room and she said, hey, did you get my gift? She saw me in the hall. Like, my gift? I was like, what are you talking about? And I went up to the front desk and the girl that was behind there, she was like, yeah, she gave this to you. And I was like, and I still have it.
Wow.
And I carry it around with me most times, but I've been getting worse at losing things lately, so I'm a little afraid to take it out with me sometimes. I have lost like important things before, like my wallet and like, remember I lost my wallet and my one hitter one night. And
I'm so scared of losing my keys.
I know, right? I've locked my keys in my car before, but I haven't lost them. But did lose my wallet and my one hitter. And actually, while I was running to catch the train, like I guess like my coat pockets were open and my cigarette box came out too. And I was like, like frozen in place. And I absolutely backtrack and I'm like walking in the middle of Clark Street trying to find like this bright yellow rectangle on the ground. And I finally did find it, and it was not crushed or anything.
Wow.
And I was like, victory to me. This is Wrigleyville. Like, some asshole would
That's
have been
divine
like,
intervention right
this
there.
is cool. It's mine now.
How long do you think it was sitting there for?
Minutes.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
I did get lucky.
What does it, like, look special? Like, does it look like
It
anything
looks
special?
kind of like a regular box, but it's got like kind of like a metallic gloss to it. It's a little bit shiny, and there's like a couple of details on it that is not on a regular American Spirit box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Prized possession.
Prized possession.
Yeah. There was a...
That's great that nothing, like, it could have even gotten stepped on, really.
I know,
That's
right?
what's so crazy is it didn't even get stepped on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would have held up if it was stepped on.
But it would have been sad still.
It would have been sad.
found it.
It would have
like,
been
oh.
sad. It's been deteriorating for years. You know, it's a little harder to open and close now. I fear that it will like fully break one day. So I've been giving it breaks here every now and then. Just rest for a little while, and I'll pick you back up next time I go somewhere where I need your luck.
Like special nights.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's like
or if I'm like tripping or something,
Yeah.
I gotta keep it on me, dude. It's like rubbing it on my face and shit.
Like if you're peculiarly high,
Yeah.
we need that. It's like a good luck charm.
There was a bunch of regulars that were there. There was this one dude who started staying there in like the last year that we were there. And in this last year, like hard times have fallen, like with COVID and everything. And it was also hard to get like good employees. So we would have people that were like, hey, I need a job and also a place to stay.
Oh, great.
And they'd be like, all right, well, we're going through hard times too, so we can work something out. So they would be people that lived at the hotel, and there would be like it would be like $35 deducted from like per night that they stayed on their paycheck at the end. So go figure, they make however like a couple $100 less bucks per paycheck because that is their rent at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did not live at the hotel, but we were all like really tight with each other, and it did become like somewhat of a family. And we were all kind of degenerates also. So whenever it would be like a slow period or something, you know, like the rush is done, everybody's here, or it's pre-rush, nobody's coming in. I got the pack around phone on me, and I've turned the thing, dial 0 for assistance. And I'd go up to my friend's room that works there, and I would knock on her door, and we would sit around and like get high or something. Or like, I had like 3 friends that lived there, and they'd be like, hey, what's
In
up?
the hotel.
Yeah. And they'd be like, hey, you want to pull? They have like some JD, and they're like, yeah, man, fucking enjoy yourself a little bit. It's like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
That will always be the best job that I ever worked. It got to a point that like, there was a regular that we had there who was working like a construction job long term. So he would be there like 5 days out of the week, every week for months.
Okay.
And he would come in, and after a while it'd be like, you know, first name basis after a few times. And then after a couple months, he'd see like a couple of us hanging out back there. And he'd come in with like a 6-pack because he just got off work. And now we're all just sitting drinking at the desk. It's like the employee that's not on duty, that's just hanging out, and the customer just sitting at the desk with a few brews. The best. We'd all go out for smoke breaks together. One of them had a baby while she was living in the hotel. She didn't have it at the hotel, but it was her and her newborn son that were up in their room. So she would come down all the time and be like, I'm going to go out for a smoke. It's cold. Can you watch James for a little while? And I'd just be babysitting back there for a little while with little man until she comes back in.
Bruh.
Perfect work environment for me. I'm like, this is unhinged. And it's like a functioning ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like we're all, we make it work. Like we're happy to help each other and stuff. Did a couple sleepovers in that place. There was a night that we all did acid.
It just gets better.
I got off at 11 that night. And earlier that day, my coworker Dallas came up to me and she was like, hey, do you want to do this tonight? And I was like, oh, I don't have to work tomorrow. Fucking yes, please.
Yeah, had you done it before?
Yes, a couple times before. Yeah. But just between like two of the people that work there that live there, three of the people that just live there, like they've been there for months, and me, and we're all just like tripping balls and watching like somebody play like Grand Theft Auto in their room or something, or like go figure, the laundry room would call to me after a little while. I'm like, I gotta go fold. It's what my spirit needs right now.
Well, like tripping balls.
Yeah.
Like I need to fold something
Yeah,
right now.
at work. Yeah, it's like, that's how much I love this job. I'm doing it pro bono right now.
Yeah, dude, that would be cool. See, I think like a work environment like that is probably where you'd get people that are the most passionate about their job. Like it seems like people get the wrong idea and they think that you need like to have a rigid boss and a rigid rule set and to get everybody like on the same exact, like they think that they're going to enforce their way into a good work environment, where really it's the opposite. Like the looser it is, the better, as long as there's that structure that you mentioned.
Because then the people are happy to work there.
Yep.
And
they feel free. They have freedom.
Exactly. Yeah. Freedom to do their job, like not the way that they told us to do, but it can still be considered the right way.
Exactly. That's why I like being a server, is kind of because that's part of what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you are kind of in charge of how you do it.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, it rides on my performance and how I act.
Yeah.
Rather than anything else.
And if there's like a branch manager that comes around or something, then like we all like button the top button.
And that sucks because really you'd rather be at the place where you don't have to ever feel like that.
Yeah, you would be. Yeah. And it kind of depends. I remember there was a dude that would come around like twice while I worked there, and whenever I picked up the phone, what's the thing you say? The line that you give them whenever they call a place of business, the thing that you have to say.
I mean, like, hi, this is da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was supposed to be like, thank you for calling Lakeaton Suites. My name's Jake Edgar. What could I help you with this evening? And then it devolved into like Lakeaton and Suites, what's up? Yeah. Lakeaton and Suites, Columbia, Missouri, how's it going?
Potential customers.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a corporate guy that called one time and he was like, I like that. What's your name? You work here? I'm going to be there in a couple weeks. Give me the corporate rate because I'm from up top, but I like your swag.
Really?
I'd fist bump that guy whenever he came in. But there would also be a couple people. I remember there was someone that called one time and they were like, I'm sorry. Do you always answer the phone like that? I was like, sometimes. Why? I'm sorry. Do you need something right now? Like,
and they were all still the same.
Do you
thing.
want to book a room or what's your deal?
Like random, like people just like calling to book. See, that's. Yeah, I don't know.
There was one person that was higher up than me that gave me some lip like that. And then there was also one random, like, cunty customer that was like, do you want a room or not? Like, I am still here to help you.
Yeah, the customer, you really have no ground. Like, you're either going to the hotel or you're not.
Yeah, sorry I did not adhere to the line reading that you expected.
See, I would, my brain would be 50-50. If I heard somebody answer the phone like that, I need a hotel, I'm in the area. Part of me would go, oh God, like I'm going to get murdered. These people probably have no idea what they're doing. The other part of me would be like, they're probably cool. You know, I would be torn.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of scared. But I'd probably still do it. I'd probably still go to the hotel. If you only got one hotel to go to, lady, what are you complaining on the phone for?
There were 2 murders that took place while I worked there. And you know what? It is entirely possible. I've always been like the most naive person at work.
Yeah.
Or in any given room, honestly. Like somebody would come in and they'd be like, I don't have an ID, but I'm so fucking cold. Like I have the exact amount of money that I need for a night in cash. And it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna deny somebody a roof for the night? They got the cash. Like, let's make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would be yelled at for that. But, or at least scolded, yelled at. But I definitely cost that place like so much money while I worked there. Just letting in tweakers that seemed nice because I'm nice to them at first.
Yeah, what he's saying is that he caused the 2 murders, is what he's saying.
I don't know.
I let them in.
Maybe at least 1 murder. Maybe.
Damn, right. Like, you knew the guy, you saw the guy, and you like because obviously the murder occurred and he got caught. So like, do you remember the guy?
I don't know.
Or girl?
I don't know the face or the name of any of the people that committed those crimes.
Oh, no?
Yeah.
You don't remember?
I don't know. And I don't know, like, the guest that was murdered either, but...
You just know what happened.
I do know what happened. It was actually, shortly thereafter that happened, there was a dude that showed up at the hotel who was just going to start living there indefinitely. And he was this kind of, like, this eccentric dude, but he was also just, like, this super smooth black guy.
Gotta love those guys.
Yeah, and he didn't tell us why he was staying there for so long, but while he was there, he purchased a van and tried to start his own business.
My man.
Yeah, a cleaning business, man-made cleaning service.
I love it.
Yeah, right. No, hell of an entrepreneur. Also, what he would do, I remember, he would bring down his massage chair. Like one of those that like you sit down in them and like you face forward into the hole and you're kind of propped up. You have the butt cheek thing on your face that you put your nose between.
Yep.
Yeah, and he would have like his massage gun and he'd like deal them out literally in the lobby of the hotel. And I knew that this is like a guy that we all love because maybe the first or second time I ever saw him, he was doing that and he was giving a massage to like my supervisor, like the lady that lived in the hotel that ran it. She lived in the suite up top with her gay son.
My man's got connections.
He was hooking up with like most of my female friends that work there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And also I'm pretty sure my supervisor's son at one point, I think he might have fucked her and her son.
He got around.
Yeah, he got around. And then it came out later. He told me later on after, okay, so the climax of my time there is that we go under new management after like this place is tanking. So I've talked about this place for a while now, but it's like, it's awesome. I swear.
Oh, I bet.
We go under new management suddenly whenever things are getting really bad. At first our manager is replaced with, the very first lady that ran it whenever I got there. And she was just like this like short and spunky girl who like, it was like finagle anything in order to like just make it work for somebody. So I don't know how to explain it. She's just like, I can make it happen, and then she goes and climbs up on top of something to grab something specific. And then she runs back down. She's like, we'll give him a discount rate for this specific thing. And I'm like, all right, you know how to keep a customer happy. Mm-hmm. And then she either was fired or stopped showing up to work like a week after they put her back. And it was like, what happened to her, dude? Like, what is happening at my job in this moment? And then they brought in this other lady shortly after that, who like it was her job to turn the entire place back around, and she fired like the entire staff.
Oh my God.
And she accused most of us of stealing stealing money. Like she tried to fabricate something that was not true that like they have on camera, like 2 of the ladies that work there, like going in and out of the window to the office with like a pillowcase full of cash or something.
When really they were just smuggling drugs. I mean, come on.
I'm pretty confident they were just looking for a way to like psyop this management, like a coup
Yeah.
of our hotel.
A coup.
Yeah.
It kind of
yeah.
is, right?
Yeah. So they fired like all of us.
Like a foreign dictatorship, takes over.
Yeah. Yeah, they fired all of us. And my supervisor told me in advance, she was like, hey, it looks like your next shift is going to be your last one. Like, I heard that they plan on firing you. And I was like, me? Ooh. You know how I'm going to get back at him is that I'm going to have the greatest last shift of my life. So I was going in for like the graveyard shift. So 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I brought with me like my laptop, my headphones, a book, my weed, some alcohol, and either mushrooms or like a tab of acid. And I was like, I'm going to forget about this job while I am clocked in. I am already fired. This is going to be great. And I got to my last shift. And shortly after I walked in, the other girl that usually works my shift walks in. And she's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, what are you doing here? And then the new lady came up and was like, I'm going to talk to you in the office. And I was fired on the spot. And I was like, so wait, what am I getting fired for? If you think that they've all been stealing, do you think I've been stealing? And she was like, we're pretty sure you're not stealing. I was like, great. And she was like, but we have heard that you drink on the job. And I'm like, me? Are you? It was completely accurate. I had been doing that for like months at that point. We were all getting super loose.
Yeah.
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 But a little while after that, I ran in once again to that guy who had been staying there with the van. And
Do you know his name?
it was Michael. It was Michael something. And I bet that if I thought hard enough about it, I'd be able to remember his last name. We all had a group chat for a while. We hung out at somebody's place and we had a barbecue one time a couple months after we'd been fired because we wanted to sue them. That's what the goal was. All these
Well, I was gonna say, like, somebody would definitely hear that story and say, like, you have grounds for suing. It's what people always say when you're unrightfully.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what they were trying to make happen. But I was like, I'll just get another shitty job. I was getting paid like $10 an hour.
That's always my response to those
I didn't
people,
lose my house in the process, so I'm not upset about it.
And you're gonna spend so much on litigation costs.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you're crazy.
Yeah. I mostly just wanted to hang out with them and
Really, like
I'll
all
just
those
listen.
meetings to set up the case. You're actually just trying to hang out.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm 22. There's not a whole lot of knowledge I can bring to the table here. But most of the stuff that's been happening, I've been lied to and just been believing about it the entire time. So I don't know what actually happened. But I saw this dude, and he broke it to me face to face. He told me that he was there specifically after that murder occurred in the building. And he was getting his room paid for, like, indefinitely by like the police department. He was an informant that whole time. He had been schmoozing every member of the staff and becoming buddy with this like the community.
The guy who fucked everybody?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude.
What a plot twist.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I was
He's
like,
a Fed.
yeah, he was
a Fed the whole time.
But I don't think he was a Fed. I think he was just like some dude that came to the police and was like, I know this girl. I bet that I can like get the answers out of I bet that we can figure out who did this. And I don't know if he was conning the police in order to just get a free 3-month stay at a hotel while he funds his own weird business ventures, like massaging and cleaning people's houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a lifestyle.
What a lifestyle.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, wait. Hang on. I'm sorry, because the plot does always thicken. There was another person that lived there full time. I remember checking them in on New Year's Eve 2021. And it was this drag queen. It was like this former drag queen who clearly had been like messing with drugs for a while, like hard drugs. So it was him and his boyfriend.
RuPaul, what happened to you?
I know. Yeah. No. I wish they could be RuPaul. Literally had like a lazy eye. Like it was not good for this person, but they would still do drag.
Cool.
Yeah.
Soul was still alive.
Demanda Respect was her drag name.
Oh my God.
Demanda Respect. Yeah. And
shout out her. Pull up her Instagram right there.
And she lived there for about a month and a half before they hired her as a cleaner because she needed work. And then I think they might have started letting her be a clerk after a little while, but whenever we all got fired, they didn't kick this person out because they were still just like a cleaner, you know? They knew that like they weren't up doing anything fishy except for literally going out and like turning tricks in the parking lot, like late at night for money, like sucking dick in a wig, and then coming back in like $300 richer, and it's like clearly methed out the whole time, like from start to finish. I saw them leave, like yeah, like they need like, hey, do you have any change? Can I give you some change? Can we make something happen real quick? And I was like, yeah, I can give you change. Yeah, we can work this out or whatever. But after I got fired, I came back, and she was literally the new supervisor. She was the interim supervisor of the building.
No, they were like, you know what? We fired everybody, but she seems all right.
Yeah.
You know, they've seen her around. She's got good work ethic.
Yeah, yeah. And she knew who to keep on, like, the staff. And then whenever I came back, I don't remember who reached out. I think that maybe she reached out to me and told me, like, hey, if you want your old job back, we're hiring. And I was like, no way. So I started working under the drag queen that I led into the hotel, the meth-using drag queen.
Life is beautiful.
Yeah.
God works in strange ways.
Yeah,
folks.
she does. Yeah.
It's like, you think it's going to be one thing. It really does make me think, though, like, it makes me think, like, in some strange way, like how you'll hear, I've heard it said, to comedians specifically, they'll say, like, don't fuck another comedian, because then what'll happen is there's this huge spider web of
it's a rift in the scene.
Yes.
Like, there are multiple relationships that are destroyed because of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep seeing all of these
You're
people.
going to keep seeing them.
Yep.
Some people will want them to take sides.
But the reason I say that is because it's like, just like that. It's the same thing where it's like, you want to be nice to everybody you meet, because it could be that one random lady who sucks a dick in the parking lot that's going to be your boss one day.
Yeah.
You could never predict that.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like, that's like the wisdom of those strange experiences. Don't fuck a comedian, and also be nice to the lady who sucks dick in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's the wisdom of Ruse Radio right there.
I remember there was, they used to hang out with like two people, her boyfriend, and there was this other girl, this like big, beautiful trans girl that was always hanging out in their room, and they were just like longtime friends, and she would hang out all the time. And then whenever I came back for my final paycheck, it was like, it had been a couple weeks since I'd been there, and then her big, beautiful trans friend was now working behind the desk. And I was like, no fucking way.
There's a revolution in this
I know.
place.
Yeah. And she's like, do I have the tea for you? I've been fucking the new weird house guy. Yeah, the new maintenance guy. This young dude that is like engaged.
How did all this happen? Like, it's like it was one work environment, and then it got all corporate for like 5 minutes.
It's
and
not.
then it turned
It's not
into
that
this.
it got corporate. It's like they hired this person. It was like supposed to be like her thing is that she can turn a business around, but she was really like the weirdest grifter of them all. And she had like a husband who like parked his motorcycle like right in front of the fucking place, like in the gravel, like leading up to it, right in front of the main fucking doors. This is not a parking spot, but his covered up motorcycle is always there now. And the
power move right there.
That's power move. Yeah, and he was supposed to be the security guy also.
Oh yeah.
But he was just this weird dude that was walking around. She was wildly unpleasant. And
it reminds
also,
me of people who like run trailer parks. It's like the same type of person.
It very was that. Yeah, it was super that. Because I remember everyone was getting mad at her after like 2 days of her being there, and they're trying to figure out who she is. And it's like, okay, well, she has a Phoenix area code, and her plates on her car are from California, and her husband's plates have Colorado on them on his motorcycle. Who the fuck are these? And they said that they're from like Minnesota or something. Who are these people that have just moved in?
It turns out they're also the cops.
Yeah.
They were the cops too.
Yeah, some pretty crooked cops. But yeah, that will always be the best job that I will ever have.
Wow. I mean, like, see, you know what's cool about that is like a story like that is because clearly you like that job enough to like even be so like you want to talk about it. Like, I can't think of like there's things I've done, like jobs I've had where it's like, oh, whatever, like even serving, it's something that's okay. But like the only thing where I feel that type of thing is like when I'm doing music or even doing something like this. That's the only place I feel like passionate about it.
Yeah.
So when you can find that in like an actual job, that's one of the coolest things ever. Like that's how you escape, having to have that like existential thing where it's like, what do I do? Is just having a nice laid back regular job where everybody's like, don't get me wrong. I like the jobs I've had. It's been nice work environments, but it's never been like, oh, I can't imagine being anywhere else. Like if I'm always thinking if I lost this job, I'll be fine. I'll find something.
Yeah.
Whereas like a job like that, I'm sure when you were there, you're like, damn, like I love it here. I don't want to go anywhere else.
It's not, I mean, like I always knew that like it's not like this job's gonna pan out. I'm not gonna work for I'm not gonna become like a higher up hotel dude later on.
But it's a great place to be.
Being a scrub the whole time.
Exactly.
I got to do my homework on shift.
Dude, like just the fact that you had like people that lived there in the hotel and they were also employees, but they were also your friends.
Yeah.
And being able to hang with them.
Yeah. And
like, that's a great place to be.
And the people that lived there full time that were not employees were just always hanging out with us.
Like a large community kind of develops.
A large community of just like smokers that are hanging out right outside the front doors. So fun. And just like, some weird one-off characters that come in there every now and then. There was one time I showed up to work, and this is like minute 25 of me still talking about
this. Could be like a TV show. Like everything you're laying out here.
I've been trying to write a script for it for a while.
It's a great concept.
There were I remember there were these...
Did you see the movie? Sorry, continue. I'll tell you in a minute.
There were these two drug dealers that were both wheelchair bound that shared a handicap room with like... either their friends or like some people that were buying from them, or maybe they were dealing for them also, but like only 50% of the regular amount of teeth among the four of them that were all sharing this room with one bed. And they were like always posted up right there, and they were always yelling at each other, and you could hear them from the parking lot like screaming obscenities at each other. And they liked most of us that worked behind the counter because we were nice, except for the supervisor because, she has to mean business. We understand that. But I would love to make them the main antagonist of the story that takes place here.
I was thinking like that concept reminds me of like three like evil Disney witches or something,
Yeah.
like evil gremlin characters. That
definitely,
no.
The head of them definitely had like Ursula vibes.
like they could do some bad stuff. That's a great idea to have them be the bad guys that's causing trouble.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or like series finale, however it all ends, you could literally do the ending you already had where the lady comes in, she takes over. It's like a corporate takeover ending.
Exactly, yeah. I think that because I always, anytime that I start writing a script, I always have like the premise in mind, and I can think of some things that happen in the middle, and I can imagine some conversations that I would like to see happen on screen, but I never know how to tie it all together at the end. And I think I know how the whole story has to end, which is that everybody that works there has to leave. Like they do not, like they all hate their jobs, and I just happen to love it because I'm a naive kid who doesn't really care about stuff. But like whenever we all get fired, it's like we've all been released from like purgatory or prison or whatever it's a metaphor for, but like we finally done our time and we have the rest of our lives ahead of us. And for the main character, which is me, it's like some kind of growing up thing for it.
So the movie I was going to mention, I think it's called The Florida Project, something like that. You never heard of it?
No.
It's got Willem Dafoe in it. It was pretty popular when it came out, but it was not like, when I say pretty popular, I mean like amongst indie films and all that, not like in a commercial sense.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 2018, 2019. I think I'm getting the name wrong, though. If I type it in on my phone, it's going to pop right up, so I might as well just get it right.
Okay, sure.
I'm sitting here with you. Yeah, I got my sound on.
That's okay. Yeah, mine just dinged a little bit ago. What kind
my
of phone
dingle dangled too, man. I didn't like it. I heard my phone dingle dangle, and I said, "Oh, Ruse, you're a professional.
Damn it.
You're a professional.
Supposed to be
Ruse.
better at this by now."
I know. 135 episodes in, and your phone's dingle dangling. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're an adult.
What kind of phone do you have?
A Galaxy S10.
All right.
Which is old now.
Yeah.
Now it's old.
What's your password?
It's 666. Anyway, The Florida Project, I had it right, and it's Willem Dafoe, and it's directed by Sean Baker, who I have no idea who that is. It says reviews 100%. I don't know how that
I love
works.
that. I love indie reviews like that.
100%. But yeah, it was It's a really good movie, and it's the reason I bring it up is because it's basically kind of what you're talking about. It's like it's a movie about people who run a hotel where people come through, and these people all have like their own problems, and it's like the people you're describing. It's like low life type people, but it's humanizing these people, and it's showing the side of them that you would show in a movie like that. It's done, and it's also got really good kid acting. I think that's why the movie was such a big deal. Like that was kind of the sell part of it. Sure. Willem Dafoe, and then really good kid actors. Because, I mean, that's fucking a rarity to have both of those things in one movie. I mean, one of them is good enough. So, and I think it's also directed well. It's been a minute since I've seen it. I think that was like the era of time where I was watching movies for free online in like super low bit rate. So I probably haven't even really seen it. You know? I've seen a lot of movies that way that I thought I've seen, and then I watch them back now. I'm like, whoa.
I used to have to watch everything in low bit rate. There was a time whenever I was in like 5th grade or something, so like peak interest in weird YouTube videos, but our internet was so goddamn slow, I would find myself like, I would literally have to go to like 144p.
I remember those
in order to watch a video. I don't know if it was just like the pre-Google takeover of YouTube or what it was.
I had to do the same thing. I remember that now. Like but you know what? I think it was partially my internet too, because I think I didn't have.
We had bad internet at the time.
Because nowadays, like fast internet is normal, but back then it was like you were lucky if you had like 20 megabytes.
I don't know what was happening with AT&T in like 2009 to 2013, but it was bad.
Yeah.
I remember that like our modem would go out like once every year, and it would barely tune in, and then we got lucky our neighbors across the street had a strong Wi-Fi signal and no password. So we would just always be tuned in. I used to go out, I was addicted to shopping on eBay whenever I was like 13. And I used to go out in the front yard and lie down with my dad's iPad and just browse eBay for like just a long time, just trying to curate my aesthetic with secondhand items.
You got to stay away from liquid bidding, dude. It'll get you. If that's
I bet it
in
will.
you already.
Yeah, I bet it will.
Because that's what my mom's problem
that
is.
That might be the only addiction I've ever had that I was able to quell. Yeah. All the others, I'm still in the throes of it. But
buying shit online, though.
Buying shit online, I very much put a cap on that. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
You say that, but like, how do you know the beast won't reawaken?
Because I've had access to eBay this entire time.
You just don't do it.
Yeah, no. I am less interested in just scrolling for. It's like all I did whenever I was 14, 15.
Yeah.
Just like look online for like, I want a good hat. Just a good hat. You know what I need is a Super Nintendo. That's what I need. I got to find a copy of Link to the Past that's less than $50. Can I do that? When do you got eBay?
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never considered getting addicted to that, though. That's crazy.
It just happened.
Yeah, you'd probably spend so much money so fast. That's probably where it goes wrong, right?
Well, I don't know. That was like my allowance, honestly. I would be allowed to buy like 2 CDs a month via eBay. It's eBay, so they're all like $4, you know? Yeah, 99 cents plus like $3.99 shipping and handling.
But you would spend hours scouring the albums, figuring out what would be the best CDs for this month. Like, you know, what kind of stuff do you even get on eBay when you're just randomly buying shit? Like random ass thing, like a Super Nintendo, like CDs, I guess clothing, like a hat, what else? Probably like video games, gonna get random ass games.
Old video games. And I was into like critically acclaimed retro games whenever I was in high school.
You want the physical copies though, that is cool.
So
much better than like a ROM on a computer.
That remains crucial to me. And you know, at this point it's like we're far enough along that it's like there's not a whole lot of tangible value to like a physical copy of a PS5 game or something. I still have a PS4.
But I still would rather have it though. Like I don't like that they made the one without the disc trays. That blew my mind when they released.
That made me mad.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like that at all.
That's what I'm saying though, because it's like they're trying to phase out the physical copy.
Exactly.
And it's like,
no, we got to keep it.
Yeah, dude. Like, isn't it nice to have?
I guess it is wasteful, you know. But is it wasteful? Because you preserve those cases. I mean, I know it's just like another thing made of plastic, but like it's not like you're gonna throw away a video game case. Like that doesn't end up in the garbage. You can sell just the case and probably make $10 for some games.
Exactly.
I have bought things mistakenly on eBay thinking that it was a game, like a great, like, wow, a $7 copy of Final Fantasy VII. Oh, it's just the case. I should have. It makes sense. $7.
Did it say that when you like went back and looked at it? Say
Yeah.
just the case?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know they could do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, there was one time I paid like $30 for just the box of Pokemon Fire Red.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I caught it fast enough.
To undo
Yeah.
it?
I messaged the guy and at age 14, I had to be like, yeah, my son accidentally got on my account and didn't know what he was doing. Can I get a refund for this?
That's a smart thing to say as a 14-year-old.
Oh yeah. No, I've been catfishing for quite some time.
If you just said I'm 14, I'm sorry. They probably been like, yeah, sorry.
Too bad, buddy.
You bought it anyway.
I'm 25 now.
Catfish training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You a good catfisher? You good at it?
Oh, yeah.
Give me some lessons then. Like, what am I doing wrong?
I used to, whenever I was a kid, actually, no, never mind. Never mind.
I used to be a genuine catfish.
Yeah.
I do remember one time when I was younger, me and my friend, it was like me and my buddy, his name was Christian, and we had a friend named Jesse, and Christian was kind of like a bad influence. He's one of those people who like, he turned out to be schizophrenic over time. So he would randomly have like these schizophrenic breaks kind of, and he would start to like hate you, and he would just be like an asshole of a friend. And it was so weird. Like you'd never see something like that coming.
Yeah.
So we ended
Never
up,
know how to take, especially as like a young person.
yeah, because it starts when some people it starts later. Him, it started when he was about like 15, 14. Like he would just randomly be such an asshole. But anyway, so like he's kind of a loose cannon, this guy. And we were hanging out and we were, I can't remember whose idea it was. I might be just as guilty, but we messaged our other friend's dad. So our friend Jesse, we messaged his dad and said that he was at someone's house and he needed to get picked up. And this was at like 2 a.m. So, and I think we made a fake account of our friend to do it.
Oh, man.
So we catfished this guy basically.
Catfished his father with his own son.
And he got up out of bed and he went over there to pick him up. And I remember afterwards, he was so mad. And he typed in all caps, "Heads will roll." He said,
Whoa. All right, Karen O. I don't know about all that.
it was so funny in the moment. And it's a funny story as I remember it. But
Heads will roll.
That's really what made the story so funny, is that his dad threatened us with beheading.
With decapitation, yeah. Our parents barbecue together. How are you going to explain that to Bob and Deb?
Oh, just imagine though, like you're like...
I did put your son's head in the guillotine because he catfished me.
I mean, and who's to blame? Who's to blame in that situation? Zuckerberg for allowing me to catfish this guy so easily.
Make it that easy.
Yeah. Dude, oh my God, I can't believe. Because I remember my friend was not happy with me. I mean, he was like, I can't believe you made my dad do that. And I'm like, dude, you just don't get it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, what are you doing? Like pranking your friend's parents? What, are you tired of being friends with them?
I don't know why I did. Like, that's why I set up the story with my friend was a little bit crazy. Because like maybe it's partially him. I don't know how guilty I was. Okay, I might be part of it. He was like... That was something that I remember, like, my friend group was kind of strange at that time, because I even had another friend named Trevor.
How old?
We were, like, all around, like, 15 or 16.
Okay.
But I had another friend named Trevor, and he was older, a couple years older, and so, like, his mom's house, or his house is where we would all go. We'd all, like, go. That's where I could do, like, adult things. Like, that's where I started smoking weed. That's where I started drinking.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, Christian, the friend that I did that last story with, the messaging the guy's dad, he was at Trevor's house. And I was going to buy weed from Trevor. And so I went to Trevor's and I bought the weed from him. And I remember, maybe I bought it from Christian. I think I bought it from Trevor, though. And I remember leaving and, like, it just smelled funny and it didn't seem right. And then later I found out that he had put oregano in there and basically sold me oregano.
That's funny.
But these are my friends.
That's a good prank.
Yeah.
That's a good prank.
It's a great prank.
Yeah, that's a good prank.
So it was an odd kind of friend group. We'd fight sometimes. You know, there was a good. I remember one time Jesse and Christian fought, and Jesse raked Christian's eyes, which is like holy shit.
Raked?
I wish I was there. Yeah, like went for the eyes. You know, which is like a feral move
with his fingernails.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know, right?
That's always been. That might be like my the physical fear that I am the most afraid of having somebody get you with like the thumbs in the eyes.
When I hear that,
terrifying.
When I heard that story, I was thinking, oh my God, like it made me realize that. Like, so if someone goes through your eyes, that's all it takes.
That's it. Yeah.
They just have to get you good.
It is arguably the most like sensitive part of your body, like the most vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The
like,
eyes.
You might as well just close your eyes.
The eyes and the neck, dude.
The neck is that vulnerable? Well, yeah, I guess it takes
so
one
fleshy.
Good,
yeah, just a good slash.
Whew. Yeah, the eyes and the neck. Because anywhere else you could probably, anywhere else you're probably good.
Yeah.
To get your stomach, you're all right. Like obviously, like if you get stabbed,
you might be all right. It's got to be pretty deep. If you're stabbed, it kind of depends.
Like a slash. If we're talking a slash.
A slash, yeah.
If you slash your eyes, oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You can get your lips slashed and you're fine.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Your eyes are so sensitive. You know, I think about that sometimes too, because it's like, if you're like, I have that electric skateboard, I'm going 25, 30 miles an hour. Dude,
terrifying to me.
One fucking fly went in my eye, like, dude, I'm amazed that shit doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll have to deal with bugs, dude.
I've had a fear for some time that I will die by like lighting a cigarette in my car and then like an ember comes back and it gets me in the eye and I overreact so hard I collide.
Chain reaction.
Yeah, that's a big fear also.
I could see that though, because that's all it would
It'd
take.
be so easy.
Yeah,
dude.
Like your eyes on fire, dude.
Want to know something terrible? I've been driving around my car for the last couple months with a recurring on and off gas leak into the cab. So like every now and then it's fine, but sometimes I'll see that check engine light and it'll be like, if I were to drive all the way to work with the windows up, I would show up unconscious.
There's been times I've driven my car and smelled some strange smells.
I got to keep the windows down in the cold. Otherwise, like, I am passed out.
No, dude, like, I remember that. Like, my car would have, like, this really... And I don't think the light came on, but I think... Actually, yeah, I think the check engine light was on. But it would just smell like not burnt oil, like a little bit different than that. Almost like a woozy kind of smell, you know?
Yeah.
That's something you can tell. Like, it's like smelling nail polish. You're like, I probably shouldn't
so
just...
distinct. Yeah, but also weirdly good.
Yeah. You like the
It's like
smell
a
of
Sharpie.
gasoline?
I do.
I love the smell of
I remember
gasoline.
first time I got my nose close to a Sharpie. It's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's like something about potent things to me. Like, because I like potent flavors. I like potent smells. Like when something's like a real, like I bet smelling salts would fuck me up.
Yeah.
Dude. I bet I'd love those things.
Yeah.
Because like when I like say like garlic, like I would put a shit ton of garlic onto something because garlic's a strong ass flavor. Vinegar, I don't even mind. Like
I don't either, dude.
Not
I
at
kind of
all.
like the spiky taste of vinegar.
You ever try like drinking apple cider vinegar and some water? Like it's good for you. It's supposed to be good for you.
Interesting. No, I have not tried that. I don't know that I will. But
well, if you like vinegar, it ain't no thing. That's what I'm saying. Like some people are like, "Oh, this is so disgusting," but if you like vinegar, it almost tastes good.
yeah.
You're like, "Ooh."
All right.
That's
all
what I'm
right.
saying,
I bet
like-
that's probably good with like a little bit of like vodka or something in it.
I bet you could make a drink out of it. Apple cider vinegar. I bet you could. Yeah.
I was just served a drink for the first time the other day. I had this neighbor down the hall from me in my new building, former Latin king.
Hell yeah.
He was literally featured in the book My Bloody Life multiple times. He was like a character.
Let's get him on the podcast.
I don't know how bad he would talk to you though. He'd talk to anybody. He was the first person I met when I moved into my building, and I have been sitting around and smoking weed with him every now and then for the last few months. And the other day he served me a drink whenever I didn't have work on a Monday morning. I think it was like MLK Day or something like that. I got a knock on the door and it was him, and he was like, "Hey, want to smoking?" I was like, "I was just about to come on over." And he served me, it was vodka, and I don't think, was it club soda or was it just water? I think it was some kind of club soda. And then he took like the smallest little, like a dice of an onion, and he crushed it up, and it just gave it like extra little, like a twist of flavor.
Whoa.
Yeah, just a little bit of onion. And then he said he poured a little bit of pickle juice on top too, because like enough so that it did not color the drink green like at all. But he said that he had to do that because he ran out of olive juice to put on top.
Whoa.
Yeah. This guy knows his shit.
It's a chemist.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. He was a
Yeah,
bartender in another life.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I bet that would be good. You don't really need much to make like a crazy drink. Wow. Pickle juice instead of...
Just a wee bit. Like the smallest little bit. I tasted the onion more than I did the pickle juice.
Onion with like you said vodka?
Vodka and club soda, and I don't know the ratio of vodka, but I could not taste it.
Well, the onion probably somehow like evens
Masks
it out.
it, yeah.
Yeah, because onion's just again potent. Like
Yeah.
probably the potency of the onion flavor. And again, like tiny bit of onion, right? Is it like it can't be that much he's putting in there.
It was, yeah, no, like picture a diced onion.
Yeah.
Like an outer layer of an onion that has since been cut into like a little die.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he dropped it in and then he took something to mash it with to just like get the juice out of it and kind of pollute the rest of the drink. It's good.
Wow, dude,
Yeah.
let's do onion shots. Like, why are we having those at bars, dude? There's a market there.
Yeah, they already got pickle shots. At this point, you could market anything.
I like these Shrek fests. That would be perfect.
Yes.
Onion
that's
shots.
so Onionade. Yeah.
Onionade.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah. Non-alcoholic onionade or onion shots.
What? If that's not already a thing,
Yeah.
like you could make a killing just like going to all of these Shrek fests and serving onion-based
Yeah.
things. You would sell so. That's because that's like the one place I can think of where like onion is in high demand.
Yeah, huge demand.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they see onion.
And that's one thing that I don't think that onions are ever going to hit a point that like eggs are right now. I think that we will be able to produce them massively forever. Like there's never going to be a shortage.
I think so. How much are eggs now? I haven't bought eggs in the last.
I haven't
weeks.
either, dude. That's kind of the most infuriating thing about this is that like if especially like picture Republicans who are supposed to be like strong and or in their own mind, it's like we are resourceful, we can do without any of these luxuries, but still like even though eggs are $8 for 12 of them, like they're still buying them and they're mad about it. It's
Yeah.
like eat something else for breakfast, dude. You can have rice for breakfast, like if you're hungry enough. Eat some fucking oatmeal. Stop buying eggs for these obscene
The
prices.
steak didn't go up yet. You can still buy steak.
Ah.
I think you can still buy steak, and steak's like good protein. It's a big.
Well, talking about something that probably will not be tariffed because we produce our own cows.
Yeah. Ooh. I
Yeah.
like what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Cows are steak is. Well, I wonder. That actually makes me think. Like, how much of the steak I buy is like American made? Probably a lot of it. Yeah.
Probably most of it.
Where the fuck-
Probably most of it.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
I would think so. Yeah, because I mean, like,
You would
maybe if
hope.
you go to Walmart, it's not going to be like that. Maybe if you go to like a major distributor, but like a lot of the time, I'm going to like the market right next to me or
Yeah.
something. So.
Which market is that?
There's a couple of them actually.
Is
like
it the
around
Brown
here.
Market?
No,
Is that right over there?
No, so it's like a couple different. Like literally, if we go over to Clark Street, it's probably 5 within this mile radius. Like
Yeah.
there's so many little Mexican markets.
Okay.
They're little Mexican.
Oh,
this
I love
whole
that.
neighborhood is pretty like.
I love that, dude. Rogers
Latin
Park
oriented.
is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love Rogers Park.
I like it a lot. I'm glad I stumbled into it.
Yeah?
Because it's not where I planned on being.
Where'd you plan on being?
I did never really. I have went through my entire life knowing that there's no need for a completely solid plan. So when I was moving into here, I didn't really have like a perfect version of what that would be. So out of utility, I remember I was going on like the Facebook page, and I knew like don't go in a bad area.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like wherever I can get on this Facebook apartment page as quickly as possible, because I had just decided I'm going to move to Chicago.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. If I keep putting this off, I'll put it off for inevitably.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
I knew I
have
had to
do
move
it.
to like a city while I was young, just
Yep.
to actually do it. Otherwise, something happens, you get stuck, dude.
And then you end up
you meet the first girl that comes along, and she's already pregnant.
Exactly. And you
Yeah.
don't recognize that you have so much freedom until you don't have it anymore.
Yup.
It's very hard to
Yeah.
understand
Yeah,
that.
dude, we're young. We can do anything.
I was lucky because I had a lot of family members, like siblings who had kids young, and so I think I saw that play out a couple times, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's how that works."
All of my friends at home are parents now.
Yep.
And like parents of like toddlers too at this point, like not even fresh ones. Like just and to me it seems insane. Like,
I mean-
so could not be me.
Don't get me wrong. Like I think it's literally the purpose. It gives you so much more purpose to have
Yeah.
a child. It probably makes
But it
your
also
life.
raises the stakes so
Exactly.
hard. And like while you're in your 20s, dude, like give yourself some time to make your fortune before like you have mouths to feed.
Yeah. Well, and your 20s is the time to kind of experiment and figure out
Yeah.
what it is that you even do or what
Yeah.
you're good at. Like no one almost everyone ends up changing what they're doing in their 20s at once or twice, multiple times. A lot of people.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're in the middle of raising kids during that, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, man, you can't have like a toddler whenever your Return of Saturn hits and be like, I gotta change everything.
It'll fuck you up.
Yeah. Pulled out the most elaborate astrology reference that I'm familiar with.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
All the astrology girls are clapping, you know.
Yeah. Snapping, probably.
Yeah. I'm a Sagittarius, rising moon, Gemini, underscore.
Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Sagittarius?
I'm trying my best.
What's the origin of that? What a beautiful name for a baby boy.
well, I'll tell you after I finish my story. I will definitely circle back to Sagittarius. I'll never forget that. Don't worry. I've got all the answers. Yeah, right. Favorite dinosaur. Sagittarius. The Sagittarius moon, dude. I'm a Sagittarius rising moon. I'll tell you later. But anyway, the moving to Chicago. So I remember I went on Facebook on those on like the sublease things, and I was able to find something where it was like in July to, it was like a few months. It wasn't that long. And so I ended up in Rogers Park, and I figured that's actually the best way to do it, because then I could get a job while I'm here and then have a job when I move into somewhere. So, and then the place I moved into was down the street from where I got the sublease, and so I just have been in Rogers Park ever since. Yeah, but it's a great spot.
This is the first place that you lived in here?
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Right.
I've been here a year and a half, but it's crazy because I mean June of 2023. So I guess it's like it's a year and 3/4 if we're being specific. I think so. Yeah.
I've been here for 3 years and probably 3/4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did that, like, moving here from where you were, like, how did that transition happen, you know?
I wanted to move to New York just because I was naive. Truly would never have worked out. Honestly, at this point, we should all be done moving to New York. They don't need more people there. It's like a wrong move for everybody involved.
Was there anybody else in Missouri saying they wanted to move to New York?
Yeah, it was actually my coworker at La Quinta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It usually happens in groups.
Yeah. It was just going to be me and her. We would have shared like a one bed, and one of us would have lived in the living room. And then she got back together with her ex that she was always telling us that she'd never go back to. And turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because that would have been a terrible investment. Like, likely wouldn't have made it. But, I mean, Chicago's the New York of the Midwest. And I found a job doing, it was like math tutoring for this offshoot of AmeriCorps called Saga Education. Yeah, so I was tutoring math to high school kids in small groups every day in the Southwest side. Yeah, Garfield Ridge, Kennedy High.
What was that like?
That was the best. Yeah. It's a good school, actually. Honestly, it's a great neighborhood. The far southwest side, go figure, it's like a cop neighborhood. But it's also like a Latin King and a 2-6 neighborhood. So it's like they kind of balance each other out a little bit. Like there's like some miscreant behavior, but it's pretty rare that it gets out of hand because there's eyes all around. Not like I'm like advocating for cop neighborhoods or anything, but it's like, you know, it's like they're running their own streets, you know? Yeah. And it does make it like a very livable neighborhood. Like I never felt close to threatened whenever I'd be walking around there or anything. But honestly, I sub now and I'm in like every corner of the city, good or bad. Like, and I walk around and it does not feel like anybody's eyeing me up like I'm about to get mugged or anything.
Yeah. So like you go to a bunch of different schools, you're saying?
Yeah. As a substitute now, which is my
How many different schools? Like just a bunch of like countless?
The entire Chicago public school system.
Wow, and they just call you up. They're like, hey, we need you here tomorrow?
They used to, but they actually got rid of like the most incentivizing part of having this job, which was like at the end of every month, they used to give you an extra $1,000 if you worked like 75% of the available working days of the month. You get an extra $1,000 at the end of your check, and they got rid of that this year without telling us. So me and my girlfriend moved into this nicer apartment in Edgewater. We're like, we can afford it, right by the fucking red line. Hey, open mic scene. I'm out here. Like I can be anywhere in less than an hour. Let's go. And now I am making like $10,000 less a year. Unless I go to these, they got these what they call incentive schools. So it'll be $45 extra a day to go to just a place that either has like shitty students, or like it's like a lot of bilingual kids, so it takes like a little extra, like you need a special skill in that department in order to be there.
Be bilingual, or
Yeah, to talk to like Spanish speaking kids, or like just be on your toes with like this one speaks Ukrainian, get the translate app out immediately and be able to fix things quickly.
right?
Yeah. Or they'll just be ones that are super fucking far away, like on the outskirts of town, and they'll
Like
give you an
what,
extra.
like a mile out.
No,
Or I'm sorry,
no,
not a mile,
like
an hour out.
not out of town, but the corners of town. So
I
like
see.
an hour drive.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm driving up to Taft High School on the northwest side halfway regularly now, and it's up by the board. It's so close to O'Hare. It's like every time a plane lands, it feels like it's like it's coming straight for the school. Like you can taste the chemtrails over there. Like that's how far northwest. So I am not getting calls from schools anymore because I can't just take jobs at like these places that I used to like going to regularly. I gotta hunt them down and be specific and be like, I gotta do math every night. It basically like, okay, what's like closest to me and also easy and will also get me $45 extra. It's gotta meet like certain criteria, and then you just pick the best one out of all of those. Any school in the public school system.
Are there ones you go to often then, or you just kind of jump around?
I jump around, but I like it whenever I get to go to one often.
Yeah, because I imagine like you'd see the same kids and all
The
that.
best, yeah. Especially as a substitute teacher, you feel like Norm from Cheers whenever you walk into some of these places.
You're like a recurring character.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You're like a fun uncle who comes around regularly.
It's like Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. Like, we're so
Literally.
happy to see you in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came back.
Yeah. You clap at the screen every time.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah, and it kind of is what it is. I mean, it's like it makes me think about like substitute teachers I had in school, or like even certain teachers. I think good teachers are really. It's another thing where like you need your personality, kind of like being a server. Like you have to kind of be really good at connecting in this way to be a good teacher.
Yeah.
Like you can be all right. If
That's
you
what
don't
it takes
do
to be a
that.
good teacher. Mm-hmm. To be a good sub, you pretty much have to like just not try and upset anybody.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even then, there's an art to that though. Because like I
yeah.
remember a lot of substitutes who would come in and they would just try to take over and be like do their
this
thing.
isn't how we do things here, and it's like I disagree with the way that you do things here, and then it's like, well, now you've made enemies with like a whole room full of Puerto Rican kids.
Yeah. Who don't respect you.
No, they don't. And if you're looking for respect, then you've already lost. Like, just sign your license away now, because you're gonna start like an argument.
I'd rather be a substitute than a regular teacher, honestly. Like,
Me too. That's why I'm not trying to be a regular teacher. I could get a job probably as like a full-time teacher somewhere around here and make some more money, but like it's so flexible, and you don't get sick of your job really whenever you go somewhere different every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get to try different food all the time. I was at this school like right off of 290 today. They called it a medical high school.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so like if you do it the way that like it's like offered to you at its full capacity, you could walk away with an associate's degree in nursing from high school. It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like right over in the medical district. But like go figure, it's like any other high school. Like these kids aren't doing anything, and honestly, they're getting up and leaving the class in the middle of class without asking. And I'm talking to like another adult who happens to be in the room, and it's like, so do I mark them tardy or like? And she's like, don't even worry about it.
Shout out to my future nurses.
I know. Yeah, really.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the bar is in hell for these students right now. It's like, just show up and you'll get like a participation degree.
How long you been teaching for then?
21 was whenever I started tutoring. Yeah, the school year of 21, 22.
Okay, kind of when schools kind of got back into the
Yeah, it was the
movement
first
anyway.
year after COVID. So I had a bunch of high schoolers starting high school after not being in school for like 2 or 3 years.
You all started high school together.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah. And I was tutoring math too. And I was so bad at math whenever I was in high school. Like I was always like my worst enemy all through school. And then I did do like dual credit classes in college or in high school. So through college, I didn't have to take any math classes. I was like, fuck yeah, creative major, don't have to worry about that at all. And then my first job when I get out is tutoring math. And I'm like, oh, the final boss comes around.
Yeah. With all your years of math experience on your belt. Too.
Those poor first hour kids would walk in there sometimes. And I'd be like, I'd start the lesson and then I'd realize I don't know how to do it. And I'd be like, give me a minute while I work this out on the whiteboard.
Yeah. Did they know that you couldn't do math?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was getting obvious after a little while.
You can only put that charade on for so long.
Yeah, I'd have to call across the room to like another pod of students with like another coworker and be like, how do you do... Not the Pythagorean theorem, but, you know, some other freshman level math that, like, has escaped me.
See, that'd be a problem with, like, anything with substituting, though, right? It would be, like, random topics you don't really know about.
Yeah.
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 Because I'm sure you experienced that a lot.
I used to sub regularly at that same school that I started working at after the fact. Okay. So it's like I was there every day. And I had like a certain amount of students, and then I stopped coming for a while, and then I randomly showed up halfway through next year. It's like, I'm a substitute now. And it's like, yo, Mr. J's back. That rocks.
He left in season 1. He's back in season 3.
Yeah. But now I'm doing like they'll have me do like a senior level math class, and I just be looking at it like, so hey guys, if you want any help, you know, I have passed high school before. I can probably help you. And they're like, yeah, do you think that you could help me with this? I'm like, Sorry. Hey, that's what AI is for, right? Haha, we're all having fun.
But it's actually true. He's actually being serious.
Yeah.
That is exactly.
Well, you know, I'm a fucking substitute. Email your teacher if you need help on it.
Yeah, let's be realistic. What are you doing asking the substitute questions?
Yeah. Come on.
Like the substitute, you can't expect the substitute to actually know all the answers to. Like that's. I remember thinking that because you would see substitutes in high school. I remember, and it would be like they would be in one class and then another, and I'm thinking like, there's no way this lady knows.
Yeah, they're not an expert in Spanish and math and geography. Like,
you're being unrealistic if you think so. Yeah. I mean, like. Man, I'm just thinking what I would do if I walked in a class. I'd probably try to have some fun with it. I wonder how much fun you could probably have a lot of fun as a substitute. You know, I'd be like, okay.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially you get like a room of first graders and you get them on your side within the first 30 minutes. And then they're like, I almost called them slaves. But like, I mean, you can get them to do anything, you know, you ask them to do like any random little task. And you kind of give them like a big smile and a nudge on the shoulder. And it's like, oh, it's a mission that I got to go on.
If you want to put it in a way that kids can understand, just call them minions. You are Gru.
They're minions.
They are your minions.
Yes.
Kids know exactly what you're talking about now. Yeah, the slave thing's a little outdated. You go for minions.
Pretty
instead.
outdated, yeah. They're minions now.
But I mean, really though, it is kind of like they're your own little servants at that point, right?
Oh God!
Say, go grab that paper and bring it over here.
I'm picturing like the elementary school history curriculum under Trump, and it's like we phased out the word slaves. We're using minions now. Yeah.
I want it to be modern. I want the kids to understand.
I want them to be excited about our wonderful past.
They took down the statues.
Yeah.
That's not right. Minions now, minions.
We're raising this beautiful statue of Stewart here in Tupelo, Mississippi.
I'm just, you know,
right here in Selma.
It's so great because I can actually see him at a minion unveiling, like a minion statue unveiling. That's like I really like the timeline we're in, honestly, because when I think about things like that, I'm like, dude, like we're in a comedy film. Like it's so nice to be inside of a comedy. Like there's a million. We could be at war. Like we could all be dying. Yeah. It's actually nice to be a part of the comedy movie. Like, we're not dying yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's a comedy, but the comedy is Dr. Strangelove. And it's like, it's only funny because, like, it already happened and it's over. And it's like, I guess we may as well laugh at it unless we're just going to, like, unless it's 2025 and we're still sobbing for, like, the millions of deaths in Hiroshima.
Yeah. I mean, like, it makes me think of like the ultimate purpose of comedy in the first place, right? Yeah. Like when you go to a comedy show, what is really happening there? Yeah. Like you're all the serious stuff, all the real things in life. You're taking all of that.
It's finding joy in the
laughing.
Absurd.
Exactly.
Even though you're amidst like peril.
And that's really like the wisdom of comedy. The ultimate wisdom of it is that you do get that. You get that escape aspect of whatever it is. Like in life, that's what all art seeks to achieve in some way. It's to take you out of whatever you're in and put you somewhere else in some other state of mind.
It's so hard to balance in real time, though. Like, to try and make fun of these things as they're unfolding is like, it's got to be really funny or else it's just super distasteful.
I agree.
Because it's like, I mean, you know, whenever I was in high school, it's like, nothing is sacred, make a joke out of everything, especially the suffering. But it's like, you don't want to, like, come to a fun podcast and be checking your privilege all of a sudden. But also, like, I mean, it's pretty bad out there. Dude, literally, like, Guantanamo is opening back up for fucking migrants. Like the dudes that came over here from the South. And it's like, yeah, now they're just in concentration camps.
What is this? I don't know this.
I just heard about this the other day, and go figure, I only read it in headline form. I did not get details. But, like, we are reopening Guantanamo. Say we, like I'm on the administration. They're reopening Guantanamo, and they're going to start putting, like, the undocumented migrants over there.
Shout out George Bush.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't that Guantanamo? Wasn't that all him? Or at least
I don't know if it was all
him.
I bet it was around beforehand, but it was getting gnarly. It was in its golden era.
The
during Bush
waterboarding,
years.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, and they're just like squeezing brown people's nuts with pliers.
I think there was a thing on Harold and Kumar where they went to Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay. Yeah. That's how I discovered Guantanamo Bay as a kid.
Yeah.
I saw that movie.
I don't remember the context I got for Guantanamo the first time I heard. Probably The Daily Show or something like that, if I had to guess.
Well, man, yeah, Guantanamo Bay, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. That's, you know what it is? It's very American. It's very American. Like, when I think about that,
profoundly American.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like how American is it? I think one thing a lot of Americans don't realize is like how other countries look at us as like the crazy ass militaristic uncle that just wants to kill everything.
Still modernizing slavery to like no end. We're always figuring out a way to do it.
And we will. The prison system, right? Isn't that really where it's happening?
100% the prison system, but also like just the way that like we've invaded so many like countries in South America before, just like overthrowing governments and putting guys that we've installed in there so that we can get capitalism going back and forth. But really, they're just working for slave wages down there. Yeah. Like, that's why everything here is so cheap, because like they're breaking their backs and we don't have to look at it.
And like, really, what I have to imagine with all of it, dude, is like, it's all like a follow the money game. That's what the whole fucking thing is. Like, whenever you want to figure out what the problem is, just follow the money with like big government. That's always what it is. It's like, literally, I feel like if you just took money, it's impossible. You can't do it at this point without a major revolution or something. It's just impossible. It would change the whole system. But you take money out of politics, you take it out of medicine, and all of a sudden, so many problems are going to disappear. Yeah. I just guarantee you. Yeah. But it'll never happen. There's just no way.
No, well, I mean, it has happened before in other countries, but like not with a government that's this size. Yeah. And it's like, you know, like we have, go figure, we have so many fucking many people. Like we have a continent, half a continent, a third of a continent full of people. Is that how big America is? Do you think is America the third of size of North America? Roughly.
I would say probably, I would get. Well, see, the thing is, so much of Canada is not even occupied by people. So, like, if you're thinking about it that way, it really is a lot of the landmass.
Yeah. Most of the populated North America is here.
Yeah.
But, like, go figure, it's also, like, a continental-sized, like, military complex that is churning weapons out for fun. It's like, I don't think that we could rise against... I mean, we could if it was like elaborate, and we did. I used to fantasize about this shit day and night.
It won't happen though.
Being in college during the Trump years and just being like more radicalized every day, and just think of just going down like mental rabbit holes of like, how could I light this on fire and get away with it? Like, I used to have a fantasy. I had a fantasy in like mid 2020, like during the BLM riots, or like they were all really riots, but like I remember just this vivid image in my head of like walking down the street with like a backpack full of Roman candles and just aiming at American flags, just cinematic. Gotta use that at some point. That'd be a hell of a
now visual. Like, why though? Why did you want to do it so bad? What do you think it was?
It was definitely just like the civil unrest in me, and also like the fucking like the climate doomer thing. Just being really upset with like not stopping any form of pollution, so that like none of our lives are changed at all.
I think the problem with that whole discussion too is it gets so polarized, no pun intended, where it's like people are so on one side or the other when really almost always the truth is in the middle. Like obviously some people are going to exaggerate how bad the problem is, and that's why you see the people on the other side saying like, oh, well, they projected this by this time and it never happened. Yeah, but it's still not good though.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, just because it happened, doesn't mean that it is not fully coming. Like,
and that's the problem.
That's why I'm not having kids, dude, because I fully think that like
the humans are doomed. It's like we were saying before.
If I had a kid within 5 years, like he would be of like soldier age to fight the water wars. You know what I mean? And then it's like all my friends with kids would just be like proud of their son no matter what, even though it is his job to like point a gun at anybody that is planning on taking our region's water. It just seems terrifying.
In
like
LA, that water thing is crazy already, right? Don't they already have to deal with so much of a drought down there in the south?
Yeah, I mean, LA is a desert. Like, I mean, it's next to the ocean, but that's not drinkable water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy because like. And so with all of that, I can totally understand why you would want like a rising of people to come up and change things. But the thing is, like, I just don't know how it happens the right way. Because I think like what would happen realistically in the real world is there's going to be actual movements that would come out, and there would be a genuine like want for change. But it's like the revolution would not be televised. You know, it's like the people who would want things to stay the way they are, follow the money.
Yeah.
They don't want you to have any power or say anything. So they can just sway. I mean, the internet's kind of changed that a little because you get different versions of things.
Yeah.
But like, it's so easy for a narrative to form that all these people are coming out and all you have to say is like they're terrorists. That's all you have to say. If you're somebody who's opposing the government, you're already easily classified as a terrorist. And I mean, there's so many stories. Like, what is it, Waco, where that dude was like in his house defending himself from the government? I wish I knew the details.
Is that what happened in Waco?
It's some crazy story. Like the government came. I wish I knew it, but I know there's like a couple cases where it's like some crazy, like the government closes in on this guy. Dude, I don't know. I don't know how it happens. I don't think you get a revolution. I just don't think it's possible. I think also it's like you could take a mass group of people, and if you just tell them this is what happened, it doesn't matter what really happened. It just matters what they say happened.
Yeah, no. The government's always going to control the narrative.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to just like, we already know they have no problem killing their own citizens.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's clear. What else is the National Guard for?
Yeah.
Truly.
I mean, when 2020 went down and there were all the protests and they would call the National Guard in and things would get all violent and things like this. Just the fact that they're calling in the National Guard and it became like that, if that doesn't like let you take a peek into that like police state that we actually have, you know, because it's easy to forget it. It's easy to think it's all just like, but America does have a very like police kind of, and it's even like the way that people think, you know, like it's just kind of ingrained in the way of our mentality towards each other. Like we don't really think of like punishment before we would think of anything else.
Of rehabilitation, yeah.
Exactly, because it's in the culture. It's like deeply ingrained.
Our whole culture is just based on convenience.
Yep.
Yeah. Convenience is the enemy has been a mantra for me since college.
Wow. See, you know what? I think that's a really wise statement.
Yeah.
Convenience is the enemy. Because I think there's something
we are addicted to convenience.
It's easier to get it than ever.
We could live outside. Yeah. It is possible. We are still literally animals. Like, it could be done. I mean, we're not living in the correct environment for it physically. I mean, like, that's half of the country where it's like, I'm going to move to Minnesota, and because I can afford a house there, you know? Like, but, you know, you take away the house, you can't really live in the wild in Minnesota. But there's plenty of places that you can. You know?
If you really had to...
You can build shelters.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know how fire works.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it could be possible, but, like, we're made to feel like we need a nice chair to sit on, like a nice upholstered chair. Like we need climate control in our homes. You know,
and at a certain point,
like air conditioning.
At a certain point, that would probably become a bad thing. Like there's because like the opposite side of that is there's a million great things that come out of those conveniences, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that convenience
Yeah.
can put you in a place that would be better than the place that's inconvenient.
I mean, the American economy, you can argue, is a great thing.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
mean, look at what man has built, but it's just forgetting what man is capable of.
Yeah.
Also, we're capable of two things, and we can do. I mean, plenty of things we can do, but the fork in the road is like industrialization or naturalism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, it makes me think, too, like, when you get really good at something and you get successful, and then that success leads you to this place where everything becomes convenient. And then that drive that brought you there just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
You know, you just want to chill out and just enjoy it. But then all those things that made you successful are no longer there all of a sudden.
That's what a job is. It's to maintain like your own like convenience and satisfaction. It's a headache to go to work every day, but whenever you come home, you get to watch TV.
Yeah.
In a warm space.
When you say industrialism versus naturalism, what do you mean by that?
I wasn't thinking too hard whenever I said it, but it's like we can build cities and like with the fruit of all of our efforts, like we can build something as beautiful as Chicago, and also like the interstate system, and like we can ship goods back and forth all over the country, like via water, road, or plane, or we can just like focus our efforts into like growing our own food and like putting together a house made out of wood that we cut down. Like we're all capable of it.
Yeah. And it's kind of where your aim is, in a way.
That's definitely a dream of mine.
To
do like the Henry David Thoreau thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like shack in the woods.
I don't know, though, because I don't know how much of it, like, that is an ideal. Because I think even with him, I don't know how much of it was actually being in a shack in the woods, and how much of it is like a romanticism of that experience.
I mean, he says at the end, like, he only did it for 2 years. Basically, he got bored.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, it's because a part of it is romantic, especially in, like, the modern age. Like,
Super
just this
romantic,
idea of having this separation. Because, I don't know if you know the story, like, Into the Wild and that whole book and movie.
I have Into the Wild on my bookshelf. My girlfriend's mom got it for me
It's a great
last
book.
year. Well, fucking it. Is it in my backpack? No, I replaced it with the Carlin autobiography that's in my backpack right now. But I had both of them in last month.
That's funny.
Didn't crack either of them, honestly.
And both of those sound like, because Into the Wild's great, but I'm sure the Carlin one's great too. Damn.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun read.
Yeah.
I'm sure that guy's got a story. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, how do you end up like that? But anyway, Into the Wild is this guy who the book is about, from the beginning that he ended up in Alaska and he died in a camper in Alaska, in the wilderness of Alaska. And there was the guy who wrote the book originally wrote a magazine article about the guy. I think it's John Krakauer is his name. And so he wrote a book about the guy. And it was in some wilderness magazine, and a bunch of people wrote him saying like either they felt some way about the story. Some people were, I think what compelled him to write the book was that people were telling him that it was like so stupid the way he died. Because like what kind of idiot would go to Alaska and then anybody
and
in Alaska
expect to make it with no means. Yeah.
Like, and we're talking about Alaska. Like Alaskans would tell you like you're such an idiot if you're gonna come here and do that. Like it's different than the wilderness in a lot of. It's like why we said earlier why Canada is so unoccupied because it's so miserable there.
Yeah. It's
Alaska's
cold as hell.
getting there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy wanted to do that, but he ended up there after this whole story where he like travels around the country and he meets all these people. And I don't want to spoil the book. I don't want to give you like a big spoiler. But there's a point in the book at which it's kind of like revealed that it's more than just... He wasn't just trying to do this thing with industrialism and naturalism. It wasn't just about that. And he, like with Henry David Thoreau and other art authors, he was influenced by them. He would see this stuff like romanticizing nature. But it's also stuff that was happening in his home life that compelled him into all this. Yeah. And so it's almost like he's trying to escape that structure of like this community that he doesn't want to be a part of, and that creates this romanticism
Is that
of
the
nature.
big spoiler that like it's revealed like why he's been doing this the whole time?
Yeah, sort of. Because it's like what the actual thing that happened in his life
Oh, no,
was.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Though. That would be the spoiler. Is like
Okay.
what it actually was.
Okay.
Because
cool.
really, you just hear that, and that's what makes the story so deep. Because the other thing is, the author had his own experience where he almost died in the Alaskan wilderness, and he tells that story in the book as well.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's explaining why he connected with this guy and why he understands like that it's a lot more than just a kid trying to go to nature and like but also it's humanizing that. Like that's a normal thing for a kid to want to escape and to have a life where they go all over the country and they live like this. I think he changed his name to Alexander Supertramp, and like tramp, that's what a tramp was back then.
Yeah.
Was somebody who traveled the country and just went to different places. You would be a tramp.
Dude, the fucking tramp lifestyle has been calling out to me for a little while. Dude, you know what I learned this last year?
Yeah.
Is wait, did I derail you?
No.
Okay. One extra thing I wanted to add is that is the best way to get somebody turned on to a book is to give them a half spoiler. You know what I mean? It's like so you know what the thing is that you need to be looking for the whole time, but you don't know exactly what it is.
I wonder what that guy was talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. Yeah. It's like you've done like the border of the puzzle.
I hate when people give me a half spoiler or they give me a full spoiler thinking it's a half spoiler. I'm like, you don't know how this works.
Yeah, no.
You just told me what it was.
Yeah.
It's a very fine line you must walk.
Yeah.
But you were gonna say,
Wait, what was I gonna say?
off of the book, right?
Something off of the book. Oh hell.
You derailed yourself.
I really did, didn't I? Oh man, how do we bring it back after this?
You done played yourself, fool. What's that? That DJ Khaled, I think. Congratulations, you played yourself. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. R.I.P. DJ Khaled.
You're messing with me right now.
I am messing with
You
you.
know, I was at a comedy show and a comedian came on stage. I remember which comedian. It was Jason Melton. He goes on stage and he
I love
says,
Jason.
yeah, he's going to be on the show pretty soon, folks.
Yeah.
And so he says R.I.P. David Lynch. And I'm thinking like, oh, that's funny. That must be something he says. Like, that's funny. And then
No, it was real.
then it was real.
Yeah.
I thought he was kidding. And that was actually the true reveal of David Lynch's death for me.
That
but
sucks.
Yeah, I'm glad it actually happened that way. That's the same way.
I'm glad he's dead.
I found out the dude from One Direction passed away the same way. Because I was at a comedy show. I was at an open mic at Red Room, and it was the day he died. And somebody was on stage, and they said, like, yo, you guys hear about this? The guy from One Direction, he just passed away. Sounds like he fell off his balcony. He went one direction, and that way was down. Yeah. But I mean, like, hey, man, that's a good way to find out somebody passed away.
It could have been a good joke.
It could have been a good joke, but at least it was a joke. It's a very predictable joke. That's the problem with that.
Yeah.
You know where he's going.
You're right. Yeah. No, there is no subversion.
Exactly.
Yeah, I knew as soon as that they mentioned the balcony. It's like One Direction, down. Go figure.
I don't know what the good joke is in that. I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper.
Yeah.
I think what rappers and comedians do is similar but different, you know?
Yeah.
I wish I could do what a comedian does. But I think I've heard that rappers feel the same way, or comedians feel the same way about musicians. I think that's just what people say, right?
Yeah.
Every musician wants to be a comedian, every comedian wants to be a musician. Yeah. So, but goddamn it.
Some people are good at doing both. You ever listen to like Father John Misty?
Oh yeah.
Love Father John Misty, but whenever he gets on stage at one of his concerts, sometimes he just like forgets about the music and starts going on like a political rant, a la like Bill Hicks.
That's great though.
Yeah.
That's great. That's the type of energy I wish I had. Like, I don't want to start doing comedy really because I know how it works. I know you suck for a long time before you're good, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
It's like, I already put in all these hours into music. I am not ready to suck again.
Dude, you know what it is though about music though sometimes is that almost all you ever see like you'll see like a list ranking somebody's discography. It was like their best albums to their worst albums.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it suck whenever their best album is the first thing that they put out?
It's a lot of them too.
It's so many people, dude. And a lot of times it's kind of inarguable. Like that very first time they came out, they just hit it so fucking hard. And then it's like a sharp decline. Not sharp, but like a slow decline. And that would just be a bummer. And that seems like that's it a lot of the time for artists.
Yeah, because it's different. It's a different medium. I'm trying to remember who it was.
It's like you're tapping two different things.
Yeah, yup, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and like it's Eminem is kind of like a good example of how his music has changed over time. He's like a good example everybody kind of knows, because the thing that happened with Eminem was he was really big, and I think he was in touch with what rap was, whereas like, not that I don't think that Eminem is in touch now, but his music is just so different in the way that it relates to the culture. Like in the late 90s, it was perfectly lined up with what that rap was. And then somewhere in like the mid 2010s, even like with that album that we mentioned in the beginning of the episode with Recovery, that was kind of where he started to shift his whole tone. But it's just so natural. How's that not going to happen? Like you're making art and you're changing as a person.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, like, what really makes me think about that is I had Brian Miklas on so many episodes ago, and he's awesome. He runs And Then I Open Mic on Wednesday nights.
Is it Wednesday?
Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights happening tonight as we film this.
Yep.
And so he. At Clattering Pub, I should say that too.
That's a Clattering?
Clattering.
Okay, yeah.
Clattering. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And when I looked it up, it's like some special type of ring. It's named after an actual ring. But anyway,
really? I thought it was like kind of a shitty play on words.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was like, who likes the word clattering that much?
Apparently
that
Irish
is a
people.
word, right? Clattering?
Irish clattering, yeah.
For
it's
something
like when
to come
something
clattering
falls
down?
and clatters. Yeah. But Brian said that what's cool about comedy is that you could have it's so inclusive. Like you could have anybody do comedy. You could have a 60-year-old,
anybody
80-year-old.
can do it.
Yeah, and there's no like. When I think about like the differences, like that's one big difference is like what you just said. It seems like, and I've heard people say too with music, that it's like even from the age 20 to 30 is when a lot of artists put out their best stuff. And then after the age 30 is where you see a drop off.
A lot of musicians are teenagers usually.
Exactly.
That's a little demoralizing for me, because that would just be a bummer to be like, I mean, Green Day's an example. Like
they're still trying to be teenagers.
That first big Green Day album is so good. So fucking good. And then, it's like they come back a little bit with American Idiot, but like, immediately after, name 3 songs from Insomniac,
Or like Uno, Dos, and Tres, all 3 of those albums.
And this wasn't a fever dream, was it? They put out a Quattro, didn't they?
No, I don't think. Maybe they did.
I've
never been a big Green Day guy.
90% sure. Okay, yeah.
I had a friend who listened. That's how I know a decent amount of their lore.
Okay.
But I never got to. I mean, I do think they're in their prime. What they were doing was really cool.
Yeah.
Like when they were doing that, but again, like it's the same thing we're talking about. It's kind of like that Eminem effect, where like they were so in touch with what that genre was when they were doing that.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, like the genre kind of looks at them differently than they did back then. It's just kind of like, oh, those guys are still doing it.
To be an old punk who's continuing to make music off their art like that it's a little like counterintuitive. Is that the word?
A little bit.
Counterproductive to like what the intention of the process was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating because, it's like, shouldn't people be allowed to like live off of music? But I guess whenever you hit like a certain amount of wealth, then it's almost certainly looked at differently. Or in the punk community anyway. It's definitely not in hip hop. Like that's the goal.
But even like in hip hop though, it's like at a certain point you're just not that same lifestyle anymore. No. Like that's why
then you get guys like say Lil Wayne, who's like still rapping about what it was like when he sold drugs.
Exactly.
And it's like, that was 25 years ago. Are you still just getting over it, or is it still bragging about it? Like you genuinely feel that way, or it's like, can you just not think of anything else to brag about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like, I don't know what the better thing is. Like, do you just carry on doing that, or do you like find a new type of thing do you like? Really, I think what you do is the second one, the latter. You find a new path. You like evolve as a musician, but that's where the problem lies. Is because how do you evolve? And people will naturally not follow you.
You love seeing people do it though.
If they do it right,
an artist that evolves in a way that that feels good to watch as an audience member, like Tyler the Creator, fucking... There's others. Father John Misty's a good example, honestly. I like seeing his career progress. Just do a little bit differently every time.
It reminds me of that, what you said earlier, convenience is the enemy. Because it's like, it's naturally going to be hard to like try to continue to make something for 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's naturally going to be hard to want people to stick with you, and you kind of have to give them a reason. Like you have to evolve and change, and that pressure to do so is what makes you better along the way, or it makes you worse.
Yeah, that's why people still like Beck albums.
Yeah,
is that like it's a different vibe every single time. You know, and even you could potentially be saying all the same things that you were. He's probably not, because he's a man who's, you know, he's 30 years older than he was whenever he started. But like, even if you're still like the same person and you're talking about the same things, if you find an interesting different way to do it musically, then like why wouldn't people tune in?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and like, you know, I had Ethan Cohen on here once. Second time he was on the show, the rabbi dude.
Yes.
And we were talking about how people kind of flanderize themselves in a way, where it's like, you know, that concept where like if you're this certain person, but then you become an archetype of the person that you were, and that just recycles over time until you're just this echo of yourself. Yeah. That happens with art a lot too.
All the time.
Yeah, or comedians. You see that with like a comedian, or,
oh my
or
God.
like people on social media. They get one video that pops off. A comedian gets
and
one type of joke.
And then you're just trying to do the same thing over and over again.
And you become this like sad, like I think what happens that's really sad about it is you lose touch with the creative spark that led to that initial moment. Yeah. Like there's a reason that happened.
Yeah, it becomes less about creativity and more about like the reproduction of the thing, trying to make the same success happen with something that was authentic and original.
Yeah, and it's just so sad because it's like you have something. You had something in there.
You don't see that as much in comedy.
No?
It definitely still happens though with people that are like so big and like, God, whenever, like, Chappelle's a good example because for the last, like, it's not 10 years. Almost, though.
Since his return?
Since his return. He's been doing the same thing the whole time, and he's leaned into the part that's gotten him talked about the most.
You know, that's an interesting point because I am a fan of Chappelle, but you're so right. Is that when he came back...
Oh, shite.
Was that you?
Yeah, that one was
me. It wasn't me the first time. It was you.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel... Look, I am a professional, guys. Because that was the same... we have the same little sound.
Really?
Dun, dun. Yeah, I'm so used to that. That sound triggers me.
I thought it was only the Motorola's that made those noises.
No, we got it.
You got a nice phone. It's a little old, but even so, this one's like hilariously bad.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was like a poor person ringtone.
No, you can go to bed happy tonight.
Yeah.
But Chappelle, yeah, he hasn't innovated in the last maybe when he came back, what he was doing was innovative.
It was innovative. Yeah. I would say it may have been innovated.
And I think it was the first Netflix comedy special, like big name Netflix comedy. If I'm remembering correctly, I think he's kind of what put Netflix on with the specials. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely not.
But what was it before him though?
They've been doing specials for a long time.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm wrong then.
You know, the very first Netflix special came out via DVD before they were streaming. I think the very first Netflix comedy special was Zach Galifianakis live at the Purple Onion.
Wow.
And that might have been... Oh, is that 2007? I think it is. It's awesome. Oh, and it's so good.
Blast from the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to put 2 ferns on this show.
That's whenever they had a logo that came up at the beginning that said Red Envelope Entertainment. Yeah. Old
nice.
Netflix, DVD Netflix. But
what a fucking throwback, dude.
Yeah, no, Chappelle came out with that one in like 2015 or something, and I'd been watching Netflix specials streaming for like 3 years, really hard at that point.
But at least, him doing that controversial, like, oh, Chappelle's coming back, and he's talking about he's gonna say it all, you know.
And he talked about everything. Yep. But the only one that people were like up in arms about were the trans jokes, and then he kept on making them, and it's like, dude, you are beating like a dead... I almost made a bad joke, but we'll just say the dead horse. The dead horse is being beaten like so hard by him over and over and over.
Yeah. What makes you think these trans people were whores? I don't understand.
He's beating a group of dead trans whores.
That's my rapper brain at work right there.
Yeah.
There's a double entendre there for sure.
I will say that Sticks and Stones special that he did whenever he's in the jumpsuit, that one's like an all-timer.
Yeah.
That one's awesome. And then it was like the hate for that one was so large that it kind of turned into like what the special after that was, and then it was like that was the Jenga tower.
Yeah, and it's like really Chappelle at his best is just not playing into anything. It's kind of what made him so great in the first place.
You ever see that video of him doing like 3.5 hours at the comic strip? It's on YouTube. It's
like
been
just
on
some
YouTube
random
for years.
recording?
Yeah.
Like it's a phone type of
It's
thing?
not a phone. No. It's a camera that's in the back of the room. And they don't even introduce him in the beginning because you don't see him walking out. You just see him. It's quiet. He's already sitting on stage. You don't know how long he's already been there.
So he's probably 4 hours. Who knows?
No idea how long. But I have seen the entire thing, and it's so much fun.
See, like,
and it used to inspire me, and now it's like something that we all make fun of him for.
What, just popping in like that?
Doing 3.5 hours of comedy, and it's like, there were other people on the list, right? Like,
I know, like Chappelle he's probably like walking in like, I own this place now. Let me just do the whole night.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody just bows.
And it's like every comedy club in America you can do that with.
It's too much power.
In some ways, it's the dream, but in other ways, it's not.
It makes me think of, you ever see the show The Boys? What the Homelander? Like, he's literally like the Homelander of comedy. He just walks in and just ruins everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, he's actually the bad guy, but everybody thinks he's the good guy.
Everybody thinks he's the good guy. Yeah. There's a bunch of comics that do that, though. Dane Cook is one that I've heard stories about.
Just coming in, popping in.
Yeah. He'll do a pop in, and then he'll stay up there for so long, and it's like people get bumped to the point that they're not even on stage by the end of the night.
See, I don't know. Like, it's kind of like a controversial thing, I guess, because like for one, they are a big name, and they would draw. It'd be a big draw. It'd
Sometimes
be like, can you believe this guy showed up at this club?
Sometimes it's your home club also, and like whenever the place has been able to like keep asses in seats because there's a rumor that like, oh, Dane might pop in.
Exactly.
Then that's valuable, but sometimes you just do it like it's some random fucking place, and it's like, dude, this is also my home club, right? Like, I want to be that guy. Do you have to take this opportunity away from me right now?
So like but it's like a club where people are actually scheduled to go up type thing.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking like just like a random. Yeah, it'd be like any show. Yeah. So that's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. The Comedy Store, dude, the Laugh Factory.
Yeah. Everybody's showing up. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe it. I'm gonna see freaking. I'm trying to think of like a good lineup. I'm gonna see freaking Bert Kreischer shirtless. I'm gonna see freaking everybody I love.
Oh, damn. I was so ready to sit here and judge you for the first names that come to mind. Because you said Bert, and I was like, ooh, what other fucking hacks is he going to come up with? He's got Bert. He's got, ooh, dude, Rogan pops in. And then Tony comes in right behind him, dude. And then, ooh, that crab guy. I love that crab guy. He gets up there also.
This is why you don't say who you like, folks. It reveals your entire personality.
Yeah.
Don't tell the people anything.
Yeah. And some guys like me are like snobs and pricks about it. And I love hearing whenever somebody's like, yeah, Tony's like my biggest influence. And I'm like, do not respect. No longer respect.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, I think ultimately in the end, I try to learn from everything because in the end, I try to remind myself, I really probably don't know what really is good. Like, I curate things in my mind, and I know what I curate is good enough. Like, the music I make is good, and I know the things I like I think are good, but at the same time, like, there's always, like, wisdom in the things you don't like. So I try to look at those things I don't like, and I try. But when Bert Kreischer takes his shirt off, I just can't for the life of me. I can't figure it out. What is so funny about that? I don't know. Like, I have some people I know who really like, because for the longest, I don't know if he still does this, but for the longest time, his whole thing was he would go out there and just tell the same story. Yeah. And people would pay to see him tell the story that he's already told every other night on his whole tour.
I don't know that it's the same. I mean, yeah, but he's touring, he's going to different cities.
But it's like he got famous off this story, and then he would just tell the same story
But
all
he was
the time.
perfecting it, because, there is that detail about, like, he told that story for 10 years and it didn't get a fucking laugh.
Okay, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. So maybe there is something about that.
It's working at it. You got to chip away at it and turn it into what it is.
See, but that's what I mean, is like no matter how bad you might think someone is, there at least is something to be learned from that. And so I try, because like in the end, I've had to learn this the hard way because like hip hop there's so much bad hip hop, dude. There's so much shit that I just cannot for the life of me understand
it's
how
the same
anybody
with
would
comedy.
like. Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like seeing that, it's the same with comedy where it's like if they can do that and people will respond, I could just do something better and at least that'll make me feel good. Like
kind of an interesting thing about rock music because it's so rarely like that's always been my genre. Like the camp that I fall under, the umbrella of rock music is like my favorite genre. But it's so rarely rewarded like on your technicalities and the things that actually take skill, you know? It's kind of like, it's the beauty of it and also maybe the tragedy that it's just like any asshole that picks up a guitar and is feeling like such a feeling that it's like, this makes for an amazing song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a balance of that. It's like how, because you know, I think I've thought about it was a book I read about screenwriting of all things, and it said like to write a good script is to have a balance between like thinking and feeling. Like you want to make the people think and also feel, and it's like, there's something so wise about that because it's like that's what a great song is. It's like when you can get them to think, but really it's about the feeling that you're, and it's like when you're trying to do all, I think that's why some people, they get too technical and they get too into the weeds.
The lyrics are for thinking, the music is for feeling.
Yeah.
You know? That's why good songs are, that's the thing of pop music whenever it's like, you can take whatever thoughts you had, now let's do the math here with the chords. Let's do the music math and turn it into something that like, just hits the ear correctly every single time.
But if you get too involved in that, if you think like about the music math to the point where you're like, oh, I can't do this, this, and this, you start cutting yourself off. And I think you stop feeling so much, you know?
Sure.
Like there's a danger to knowing too much.
Oh, and it's totally the same way with jokes.
Yeah.
Because I still come from like this like, the radical political college kid who was like, I want to make people think with my comedy. And then really you're just pointing out things that are sad and then looking at the audience like, right? And
Israel,
like,
Palestine.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, there wasn't a punchline. Like, what about that part was supposed to make me laugh? Now I'm just thinking of a national tragedy.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like if you're going to do it, it's like you have to walk that. It's kind of like what you said earlier about like politics and comedy. Like I think there's something you have to if you're gonna bring up anything like that, like modern events or anything like that, you have to justify it in such a way to where it's like, you know, because we all know what you're doing. We all know what's happening here. Like we all know why you're mentioning this stuff or why you're bringing up the controversial topic or why you're having a controversial joke. Like so you have to justify it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make it good enough material.
Yeah.
I feel that way about like you know, it's like I think that's what got what's her name? She was a raunchy female comedian. Schumer, yeah. I think that's what really got her in that hot water is that she was making a bunch of sex jokes, but it's not like these were intellectual jokes. The joke is sex. The joke is funny sex girl.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know everything, and that's something like that. Like, there's people who want that. They don't need any intellectual shit. They just want to go see funny sex jokes. Yeah. So it's like there's a balance there.
And I don't like it whenever people rip on Schumer. I mean, especially for like the joke stealing part, because you can ask almost like any of the comedians whose jokes people online said that she stole. It just kind of is like, you're clearly just like mad at a woman for being like proudly in her own body right now. Yeah. But with so many of those jokes, it's like, what was the point that I was going to make? Like whenever you're just going for shock value, so any comedian will tell you that like no joke is off limits. It just has to be funny enough.
Exactly.
You can say anything.
Yep.
People will probably laugh if it's actually a funny, subversive, surprising joke that it doesn't even have to be a good take. Like you could say something awful.
Well, that's like, exactly it.
If it surprises you. Yeah, I mean, Jesselnick gets up there and he says awful things, but like you can kind of listen to anything that a person outside says about him. It's like, yeah, he's actually a really nice guy who wouldn't like hurt anybody. It's like, yeah, you can say those awful things if you're funny. Like, just make it a well-written joke.
I think there's a universal lesson in that. It's like, even in life, you can say most things, but it's how you say everything around it and how you contextualize your ideas and all of that. Like you really can.
Let's frame this in a certain way.
Exactly. Like I think people like get the idea they can't say things, but really it's like the way you frame it. It's the way that you present things. Because obviously you say something one way, it doesn't work.
No.
Like that's one reason I've always liked music and I've liked poetry is I think it allows you like, to me, that's an easy context for me to get any message across.
Yeah.
I can say it in this way, and it'll make more sense than if I was to put it in a sentence. Like somehow, the way I said it here is better than if I were to try to lay these ideas out in a normal way. And comedy, I'm sure, feels like that a lot, where it's like, oh, this normal thing I can't always say.
Yeah.
Somehow I can say it on a stage because I found a way to say it.
I was just talking to, do you know Michael Cooper?
Oh, yeah.
Love Michael Cooper.
Good old Southern man.
Yeah, man. I was talking to him the other day, and I reminded myself, it's like, like the reason that I wanted to do it whenever I was in late high school was because I was like, my takes are too hot for society.
Yeah.
And then you try and say them into a microphone, and it's like, really, these just are like not well thought out ramblings of like somebody that doesn't know anything and is trying to market it as comedy.
That's probably a lot. That's probably about a good 50% of most open mics, right?
Yeah. 65%, 75.
And power to you guys.
Yeah, you know. That's why it's a special place.
Well, and that's why you have to. That's why I wouldn't want to start comedy. Is exactly that, because I know it's that for so long.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, especially because like if you say it in music, like we can use Eminem as a reference again. Says awful things in his songs, but it's like. Nobody forgets that music is art whenever they say it. It's like he's not going up there and trying to convince other people to like kill their girlfriend and put him in the trunk.
Right.
Yeah. It's clearly not his goal. He's just talking about it. Like and it's because it's art. Like this is what he feels passionate about, and he knows like the technical skills that will convince somebody to listen to it.
Yep. Yeah, it's a combination of all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
it can pretty much just be boiled down to two things. It's like you have to know how to frame it properly, and the original thought has to be like the passion for what you're talking about or singing about.
The intention
has to be present. Yeah, the intention has to be there, on top of just the technical skills to make people see it as good art instead of just like slapdash feelings on paper.
See, and like I think it's interesting because I think like that makes me think, because you have like a lot of the time you have one or the other, but it's the combination of both that really makes magic. Like sometimes you'll have the intention but the bad execution. Sometimes you'll have a great execution but just no real intention.
Yeah.
And when you get the two, that's when you can really see something happening.
Yeah. That's always the worst. Also, whenever you see kids that start doing comedy because they just want to be comedians, but really they have like no worldview at all, and they're just coming up with like hacky premises and things that they've already laughed at before, and they just like try and take a take that somebody's already said and turn it into something different, or just be like, you know what I think is funny is stereotypes. Here's basically a list of them, and then I'm gonna keep looking at you guys for approval after.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not worth watching.
But it's no intention. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no intention. It's like, and you know, we would tell you to quit if you're very like your presence here, your ability to be at the open mic, your right to come out is like it. The message is the medium, or the medium is the message. What is it? It's like the fact that somebody who's not good at this is allowed to be here is the beauty in the entire thing. At the open mic anyway, you know, because we're not, even though Chicago is a liberal city, you can always find places to get on stage and like just spout off like racist shit, you know, like you can in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And I would argue that that's beautiful in a way. I mean, it's also super sad, and it's like, really, if this is what you consider art, like, kill yourself. But like, you know, you still have the right to get on this stage.
Yeah.
And we are all totally we have the same right to like blast you for the rest of the mic. Like you can be everybody's punchline for the rest of the mic.
And that's the beauty of it, truly.
Yeah, that continues to be the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you kind of, I think that's like that's the universe getting back at you. It's like, what do you call it? karmic justice, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's what has to happen to that person because eventually either like hopefully the ideal version, the ending of that story is that just happens to them enough times where they're like, okay, this is not working for me. These guys hate me.
Yeah. They stop thinking that it's worth it. But I mean, if it needs to come out of you that bad into a microphone, you can find a place in, I won't even just say the city, like pretty much any open mic in the world. Like you're probably not going to get cut off in the middle for saying almost anything.
There was a guy who was at Red Room like months ago, and he was King something was his name, and he was like on his phone for most of it, right? And he wasn't like interrupting on his phone. It was just kind of like, you know, like it's like his girlfriend like told him he had to be on the phone or something type deal, right? He wasn't talking, but it was just kind of a weird thing happening. And
was he actually on the phone or was it a bit?
He must have been actually on the phone. Because, like, the thing is, this is what I'm saying, I don't think he's a comic. Because when he went on stage, he, like, started this massive rant where he was just, like, yelling at the top of his lungs, like, fuck Jesus, fuck the police, fuck America, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And really the room was not on his side until he said fuck Jesus. Like, that was a little bit into the rant when he said that. People were actually being cool until he started...
Really? That's where people got turned off? Fuck Jesus?
Honestly, yes. That is really what happened.
Huh.
They're like, hey, we're cool with God in here.
Seems interesting.
I don't know what it was.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, he was killing the vibe of the mic, but when the room really turned on him was when he started just hating on everything. When he said, fuck everything. I think before that, they were just like, oh, this is a fun rant. And also, it kind of probably was one of those things where you slowly realize it's not a bit, and this is not like this guy is actually this.
That's this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so afterwards, I remember it was like 2 weeks later, and I was on Facebook, and I saw that, I can't remember who it was. It's whoever runs Red Room, but she posted on Facebook that he had messaged her, like emailed her afterwards, like asking for a video recording of his set. And like she said that there's no recording, and then he started to call her names, said like "fuck you, whore" or something.
Oh, really? You say this was the doctor or the king?
The king. It was the
okay,
king.
okay.
I wish I could remember his name. If you know who runs
King
Red
of
Room,
what, dude?
he's King something. Hey man, as a rapper, all right. I know some kings.
Yeah.
I know a couple of kings, couple Lils, couple kings.
Yeah.
So really, that's what's happening there. Is he's got a cool stage name. That's what it is. He's I could be King Ruse if I want for an album or two, if I really want. Who's to stop me?
That's something that's really funny because it sometimes like transphobia and rapping can go hand in hand.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, how funny is it that you can't use pronouns, but you are literally like begging everybody to call you like King Von right now. Like you have an even dumber thing that you want to go by, like in your day-to-day life, and you're not on board with like an even lesser example of this.
Dude, this guy, the story doesn't do him justice. He was the coolest guy I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like, truly, though, it was a unique experience.
Sure.
And it's exactly what an open mic is for. Because after it happened, the whole room's like, wow, that guy was fucking crazy.
Exactly, yeah.
He didn't stick around. I wish he did just so he could see everybody roast him, you know? Because that's what it was. The rest of it was just kind of a roast on that guy.
I had, there was a mic that I was asked to co-host with. You know Tim Watson, do you?
No.
He just had his 75th birthday. We had a party for him down at this spot in the South Side.
Was that the post you posted where it's like
missing?
You think that if you were worried, it's missing. It's his face, and then you say, "Haha, just kidding."
Yeah.
But if you were worried, come to this.
Yes, yeah, that was
that.
Tim. Yeah. I was so proud of that. I thought that was so.
That's a great
funny.
idea. Yeah.
Also, it's believable because sometimes you talk to that guy and it's like, so how hard are you hanging on there mentally? That's really mean. That's not what it's like. He's fully cognizant. It just.
But if he went missing, people would be like, "Oh my god!"
It's mostly the
that makes
walking.
sense.
It's mostly the walking around without his teeth in and going to mics with no teeth. That it's like, okay, maybe this is a little believable, but we do all love Tim.
He's not missing. Only his teeth are.
Yeah, but we were. We had a mic that was it was off of 35th and 31st and Archer and Ashland.
All right.
Yeah, it was right across the street from the Ashland Orange Line stop at One City Tap. And there was this Southside white guy that would go in there, and he would literally wear like an American flag jumpsuit that he surely bought on Temu with like an American flag cape, and he would call himself Dean America. And he would get up there, and it was literally just like trans jokes, racist jokes, fucking just like trying to own the libs, and nobody was laughing. And he was really keeping up the attitude the whole time. But I think genuinely there is nothing funnier that you can see at an open mic, or maybe in all of comedy, whenever one like really proud idiot kind of starts to realize that like nobody's into it, and he has to like do those little things in between jokes where you just have to say something, otherwise it's fully quiet.
Like those, those little
like, all right,
that's how you know somebody's
with that one.
Yeah, that's how you know somebody's struggling. Like what I think when I see that is like, oh my god, like just take like a lesson from acting. Like just fake it till you make it. Like pretend you're doing good.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
And it's so funny whenever they keep pretending, but you see the dam breaking a little bit.
The pain in their eyes.
Yeah,
I have to pee just a moment.
Yeah. Like the willingness to just bring your camera out to record like any open mic set where it's like, these are my best jokes. I know this is a good crowd. I'm going to get it on tape. I'm going to get my best ones on tape in front of a good audience.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's probably one reason Red Room isn't... Like, I like Red Room a lot because it's a good spot for exactly that. Like, you could probably get a good example of what you would look like in a tight... Like, because the laughs in there are, like, if you had a camera, it would be audible. You know what I mean? Like, if you had a camera in the audience and you wanted to pick up the laughs...
It's a full crowd.
Exactly.
In there. Yeah, people go.
If you went to, like, some random bar, you're going to have a whole different video.
I haven't gone to the Red Room, but, like, maybe twice since living up here.
I like it.
I don't know why I'm not going.
I mean,
honestly.
I like it, but it's one of those places where I don't know if it's... I don't know, because there's the politics of it. It like changed ownership recently, and I heard that when it changed ownership, there was less people going than there were previously.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know anything about the ownership already, so I'm not here to like take sides in something that I was never at.
Me neither. But it at least is a concrete reality that like the amount of people that went to Red Room changed after that happened, and so I'm just not sure if it's like entirely bounced back, because I know I've been there and it's been a big ass list. But other times I've been there, I thought it was a lot. Like I was like, oh damn, it's like 25. But I guess sometimes they would have like up to like 40.
It's like 35.
Yeah. And people show up early.
I know, dude. The first time I went there, I got there like right at sign up. And I was living in Humboldt Park at the time, like right by the Western bus. And I was like, all right, straight shot up Western. Let's go. One bus ride. Not one bus ride. You get so far on that Western bus, they transfer you to an even further northwestern bus. That stops moving at like Lawrence or something like that. I think it's like the Lawrence Brown line that you switch off at. Yeah. And then you go further up to like, I mean, it is on like the northern border of the city. It's like 3 blocks south of Howard. It's just real fucking far.
Yeah.
And then I got up there at sign up time, and it was like, okay, well, I could either go on number 36 and pay for $5 beers all night, or I can cut my losses and go home. And I did just that.
Yeah, it's and you go on 36th, and you're going on for the 2 people who come on
The 2
after
people
you.
that are still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, and there's for better or worse. Like, because I can understand it. There's a lot of comedians who are going to other mics for one thing. But, like, at the same time, like, I don't know. I am the type of guy who sticks around too long for everything. So I'm just probably going to stay to the end of the mic unless I have something else to, like, I have to go do. I'm usually going to stick around. Because the other thing is I know how this works. I'm trying to create relationships. The problem is if not everybody sticks around. So, like, say you wait till the very end. All those people at the end will stick around and talk.
Yeah.
Everyone usually stands around and chats for a minute.
Yeah.
So that's the moment to be like, oh, hey. And, but not everybody sticks around. So, like, some people you got to catch before they get out. You're like, oh, hey, nice set, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's hard to network in that sense when it's that way. And you're not going to find a lot of mics where people stick around the whole time, though. It's just
especially
impossible.
not in this city. That's something that I had all the energy in the world for when I was in college. But, like, as soon as I got to Chicago, like, I'm in education. Like, I got to wake up at 6 every morning.
Exactly. You can't blame people.
Yeah, it's hard to stick around that late. Especially, like, and this is a city where you can hustle mics at. Like, you can go to 3 or 4 in a night, And it's like, yeah, why would I stick around for the last 15 people whenever I can get an actual good spot at this place and then hit a third place?
Exactly.
Or just be home a little bit earlier, because it takes a lot out of you to go and sit through that many comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just hate the feeling of networking.
You don't like it?
I feel like I'm using people, which
I don't. Well, yeah.
it's supposed to be a mutual thing,
Yeah.
ideally, but really, I want to get booked. You know, I want to do something with you specifically because you are higher ranking than me.
So you're not trying to, like, what you're saying is you're not trying to, like, make friends with people in this political way. Like, you'd rather just get booked and not have to do all that. Is kind of what you mean?
I mean, not even to say that I'd rather get booked, because I would honestly rather just continue to be a scrub as long as I don't have to feel like I'm like one of these guys that like begs for spots and offers stuff in return, but is not nearly as quality as the thing that I'm trying to get in the first place.
Yeah.
It just seems dirty. It seems like political in a way that just gives me like a grime on my skin.
Yeah, and in a way, and in a certain sense, it is political, and you can't escape it. I mean, there is a certain politics to like staying on people's good sides and don't say anything to make so and so upset because they have a certain amount of power in this area. Like, there's so much of that, and it makes me think, like, you know, philosophically, in the sense where it's like, okay, well, in a realistic world, there's going to be a certain amount of that. You're never going to escape it, because no matter what industry you're in, wherever you go, there's going to be people who you're going to have to deal with. And if you really do want to be successful, there is probably a certain amount of compromise within that, like a certain amount of like making sure you maintain a relationship with people you might not want to maintain a relationship with. That probably has to happen a lot of the time for true success to actually occur. That must be something you do. And that's political. The reason I say it is because that's pure politics. It's politics 101 is to stay on people's good side.
Yeah.
But like, I hate that shit too, because I am like, I'm a nice guy and I'm super cool. But like, dude, I don't want to fucking like, like, dude, some shit just drives me crazy, dude. And like, I try to be real, but I also know there's some things I just can't say on a microphone.
I don't have it in me to be real with anybody at this point. Truly, I am always just being nice for the sake of being nice. I don't want anybody to dislike me. I will and I will straight up lie to you just for the sake of keeping this unagreeable conversation.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'd lie. I think I find a way to like, it's like a jujitsu art. You know, you have to like dance your way around. It's politicking again. It is really what it is.
I do this thing also where if I'm not just being like blatantly like polite and going against my own like moral code for the sake of just making this an easy conversation, I'll do this thing. Depends on who it is, but I'll be like passive aggressive and friendly about it at the same time. Like, I'll try to insult you to your face while nudging you on the shoulder and being like, this is our kind of friendship. Otherwise, I can't even fucking get along with you. Like, this has to be a friendship where I can continue to openly acknowledge that you are stupid. Or like, and just be like, and you know what? That's why I like hanging out with him, you know? He says dumb fucking unfunny shit all the time, you know?
And I love that about him. It's really endearing.
But you know what? He's a guy that we can be honest with. We sit around, we're honest to each other.
But honestly though, that's exactly what you want, is people who are like open with your stupidity, because it actually makes you feel more confident in revealing your own stupidity. I really think that.
Yeah.
Like, the people I like being around the most will say some dumb shit because they make me think like, okay, I'm not maybe my dumbness is universal.
I do like it whenever people are vulnerable enough to say some stupid shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel a lot more at home.
I think that's my gift, is I just don't have any, my filter is bad. I don't know how to filter things out, and I think it makes people like me.
Sure.
I think it works. I say enough dumb shit to where people are like, this guy's a good idiot.
Right? That's a space that you want to work your way into.
I like it, dude.
To be a good idiot.
I'm proud.
Yeah, you can be wrong about stuff. You can not know things and still express your opinion. And you know, and if you're not mean or you know, you don't mean poorly while you do it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. If you can be dumb and not an asshole, I don't think too many people are going to be upset with that. I think that most people will happily embrace you.
Intent and execution.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
my intent is pure, my execution is stupid, but
Yeah.
the stupidity is lovable. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, truly, though, I think that there is a certain actual wisdom in recognizing how little you could possibly know. Like, it's impossible for me to know everything, or even about a lot of topics. Like, doing a show like this, you realize that so fast.
And for
Everybody knows about so many different shit.
And anybody who really does, like, look at the other person like, you're dumb as hell. And it's like, are you forgetting the fact that we are all human beings with the same, like, pretty much the same brain capacity for the most part, and also we're exposed to all the same shit? Like, no one has all their facts straight.
Yeah.
Nobody actually knows as much as they think they know. Like,
yeah, and I think there's an illusion of that because of the access to things.
yeah,
Like,
the access of knowledge that a lot of the time is not accurate.
exactly, yeah. You have access to everything, which in turn means you have access to too much. Like, you think you have all this stuff at your fingertips when truly, like, we
have a bunch of lies at our fingertips.
Exactly. It'd be so easy for you to go and try to find information and easily be swayed the wrong way.
There's only one truth, and there's a billion ways to say it that are lies.
Wow. Yeah. And so in all of that, right, when it comes to networking and meeting people, that's what I'm always thinking about. I'm always thinking, like, there's got to be some illumination within this person that even people who other people don't really give credit to, I usually try to, because you never really know, dude. Like, you never know where you can plant a seed and have that seed grow into something else. You really don't.
Yeah.
Or like a broken clock is right twice a day. Like, even that guy that says the dumbest, stupidest shit, there is truly something deep within there that is.
There's a couple things. There's at least two things that he knows as facts.
Yes, and it would blow your mind. Like, and I think you see what you're looking for. You find what you're looking for. So, like, if you're not looking to find that, and you don't believe that, you don't believe people have any potential or whatever, like what I'm describing. If you don't believe that people you deem as dumb are, like, have that in them, you're never going to see it. You're just never going to find it in there. But if you do believe that, you'll keep finding it over and over and over again. And that's, like, where the true wisdom really lies. And it makes you realize how dumb you are, dumb you are as a person. Because you're like, even though these people seem dumb, they're smart about other things that you're dumb about.
That is one of the greatest comforts that I find, is just, like, accepting my own stupidity.
It's beautiful.
Just take a deep breath and remember how little you know.
Yes. And, like, I think the masses are ultimately stupid in general, but I think I am ultimately stupid in general.
No, dude. It's like complaining about traffic whenever you're in traffic. It's like, you're not in traffic, you are traffic. We are the masses, even so.
Yeah. Yes, folks. So think about that.
We don't know most things.
We don't know most things.
We know a couple. Like, let's just not be jaded about it.
Well, you know what's interesting too is, like, what's so interesting about, I think, in podcasts in particular, is, like, you can get such a unique view of, like, how people can feel so deeply about different things. Like, talking to comedians, they all have their own philosophy of comedy and their own version of the comedy scene that they've created in their head and all this. Like, but each person's going to give you a different version of that. No one's going to say the same thing.
And everybody will tell you, like, this is what the Chicago scene is.
And they think they know.
And it's like, that's what it is to you.
Yep.
Like, and that can be true for you, but let's not throw this over the entire thing and call it, like I see the entire thing for what it is. Like, dude, have you been to the South Side? Because they have their whole own entire scene down there. And, like, I guarantee that they do not adhere to the same mechanisms.
Yep. And you know, there's something beautiful about that. That's actually why I came to Chicago in the first place, is because where I was from in Flint, I didn't see a whole bunch of, like, different perspective of different culture. And when I would come here, I would feel that, like, immediately. I'd be like, oh my God, there's so much to learn from that, from all of these different perspectives all culminating in one place.
Yeah.
And it's cool I think that's really, like, one of the best things about being in a major city.
You're exposing yourself.
Yeah, and you need to see that. Like,
you are, I mean, like, you are letting everything else be exposed to you.
Yeah, and
Exposing
you
yourself
need
to
to
culture.
You need to, when that happens, you need to try to do it with the least amount of bias possible, like the least amount of like
open eyes every single time.
Yeah, because
like
that's when you really see it for what it is.
Yeah.
And what it is something that you could never predict. Like it's something you can't just walk in knowing what it is.
Yeah.
That's how people are. You know, you talk to people, you can't know a person, and you can talk to a person for 3 hours. You don't really know them. You can talk to a person for 2 months. You don't really know them. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Life is a beautiful thing. Life is a box of chocolates, as a wise man once said, or a wise man's mom once said. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
He was pretty wise.
he was very wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Forrest was awful wise.
I think so.
Maybe not smart, but wise.
And yes, absolutely. And in the end, I think it's the wisdom.
Was like he was a real guy. Yeah. One of us before the end of this conversation learned that was not a biography.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm actually kind of confused right now, but I didn't want to mention it.
oh yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed. I mean, I admitted my favorite comedian was Burt Kreischer. I thought Forrest Gump was real. I mean, this is a bad podcast for me. Also, before we get out of here, I have to tell you that a Sagittarius is when you are born on February 28th. It's when you're born on the leap day, 29th.
Oh, okay.
That's what a
Does it
Sagittarius
cross over with
is.
Taurus there?
No, completely unique.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Saga with a soft G. G.
Oh, Sagittarius. I said it wrong. Not Taurus. That's different. But Sagittarius.
Have you heard people pronounce it Sagittarius before?
I don't listen when people talk.
All right. All right.
I just wing it. You know, for real though, when people start with the horoscope thing, when they start, I
do tune out. I do tune out. Yeah. No. Honestly,
I want to understand it.
No, I don't. I get really mad at astrology, and I do have no patience for it.
I want to.
No.
It's going back to like my humility I was talking about. I want to think. I don't want to judge that. I don't want to think like. I don't want to create a version of it in my head. I want to understand this. But then I think like this is nonsense. Okay,
I don't want to
have to endorse this nonsense.
I don't want to judge it either, but astrology itself is to meet a person, learn their birth date, and then completely judge them.
Yeah.
You know one thing about the person.
Kind of like racism.
It is racism. Dude, that was my favorite bit whenever I moved here, is that I had one where, what did I call it? I think I called it birthism. That was like the line. No, and you know what? And it's not that funny. And I had like, it was like a fine premise, and then I got to the city, and it was like the first open mic that I went to. I saw that Queenie bitch. That's their actual like stage name. The Queenie bitch got on stage, and she called it star racism. And I was like, God damn, that's so much fucking better.
Yeah.
I can't try and work that in now. There's a better version of my joke that's being done already.
Star racism.
Star racism. That's so fucking funny, dude.
Racism, but it's written by the stars.
Yeah.
It's just not fair. You know, like, the thing is, like, yeah, when you describe a Gemini, I could say maybe that fits me. But, like, at the same time, or a Sagittarius, sorry. But I could say maybe that fits me. But, like, it's just like a horoscope. I could read a horoscope and say, yeah, maybe that fits. It's like I could open a fortune cookie and say, yeah, maybe that fits my situation.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's like I learned that lesson when I was younger because there was the Wizard of Oz Pink Floyd thing, if you ever remember that, Dark Side of the Rainbow. But they used to say, like, if you played Dark Side of the Rainbow with the movie, the album was
with Harry Potter.
Did I say Wizard of Oz? I thought I said Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I don't know why. Well, you know what? You also said Dark Side of the Rainbow.
Yeah, fuck that all up.
I don't know why I thought, okay, did you say Harry Potter? Or did I you said the Wizard of Oz, and I completely was like, this guy's watching Pink Floyd and the Sorcerer's Stone at the same time.
Close enough, though, because, I mean, like, these people...
No, I do know what you're talking about.
They really thought that was what it was. And there's certain things that really do line up. This is a whole theory. But at the same time... You can turn on a video of someone dancing and put on a song, and it looks like they're dancing to the song.
Oh, you know what? I think they do call it Dark Side of the Rainbow. Also, that's what that thing is whenever you watch Wizard of Oz and listen to Pink Floyd at the same time.
See, I'm not as stupid as I seem.
Yeah, and I'm the asshole. Dude, I'm always doing shit like that.
The idiot and the asshole. That's what we can name this one.
Yeah.
The name of the podcast.
I'll let it be that. Yeah. And what you discover is that we were both the whole time.
Yeah, right. That's the fun part, is figure out who is what. At the end, the twist is.
I see you adjusting your mic. Is this where we wrap?
Oh, no. I always, you know what? I've watched myself back, and I don't know why I do that. I think it's my ADD,
really?
dude. I'll touch this mic so much. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I've been fidgeting between these two containers of liquid like this entire...
Yeah, I don't blame you though. Like one thing, like I'm not a huge Schultz guy, but when I watch Andrew Schultz on podcasts, he owns that mic arm, dude. He owns the mic arm. And
yeah.
I think that's what I'm doing.
That's a funny physicality to have.
I think I
don't have any funny physicalities.
I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you do, and no one's pointed it out to you yet. You know?
I have tics that I do all the time. I'm pretty sure you heard me go
is that what that is?
1,000 times before. Yeah, I've been. My New Year's resolution is to just tell people that's Tourette's, so I don't have to. So I don't have to be like, it's just like a weird thing I have. I don't know what it is. It's never been diagnosed, but some guy at Easy Inn told me a couple months ago that that's Tourette's and that his brother has the same tic and that's what it is on him. So I just saved myself like a $450 diagnosis.
See, what I was going to say to you, dude, is little comedy hack, all right? You become the Tourette's comedian and get booked pretty fast.
They have those.
You get booked pretty fast, man.
And you know what I kind of love about stand-up is that all of those completely go away whenever I get on stage. I am so overwhelmed with what it takes to be on stage and just next thought. We're moving.
That must say something about mindfulness though, right? Because I've heard stories like that where people will have tics and it just, there's something that stops the tics, or there's something that they can focus on, or it must say something about where you put your mind, because if you're on stage, you're in a certain frame of mind.
Yeah.
And that must just, for some reason.
I don't think I've ever had one of those while I'm on stage.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed too is you were doing it, I feel more before we started than once we were actually doing it.
Exactly.
Which is your mind's focusing. And so wow, that's interesting. Dude.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that whole thing is just interesting because what is it? What is it that makes a person's mind do that?
It is so me idling. It's and whenever people try and figure out what it is, it's do you know that you're doing it, or are you trying to do it, or can you not help it? And it's it's kind of that I know that I'm doing it and I can't help it at the same time, but I don't think as I'm doing it.
It's instinctual.
Yeah, it's instinctual. And that it is a compulsion. It's a physical compulsion. And then after a while, I see them coming in my head, but I just let them rip anyway.
Like a fart.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, if I hold it in, then it becomes the only thing that I can think about. It's I'm staying extra focused on not blowing air out of my nose.
Yeah.
And that is not worth putting mental power toward. Let's just keep on whatever thoughts that we had coming and let them happen instead of derail them so that I can not make a little noise.
Yeah, but it probably just becomes a thing that happens over time.
Yeah.
It's not something you would probably think anything of.
My parents finally, 10 years later, no longer make comment about it generally.
Finally.
Whenever. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it took so long to get there.
So it didn't happen, you say 10 years later, so it didn't happen before, it just started happening one day?
No, well, yeah, I think it did kind of just start happening. I always had little things that I had to do, but they were different over time. And I think I was probably 12 or 13 whenever blowing air out of my nose became I never really put it down.
It was the next big thing.
Yeah. And it never went out of style. Every now and then it'll go and it will be replaced with something that is not better.
He just starts dabbing.
Oh my God. You know what it was for a while? I would gleek on command.
What is that?
That's whenever the bottom of your tongue shoots a spring.
Oh no.
Yeah. I almost wanted to just demonstrate it for you instead of tell you. But I used to do that all around school and home, and I would just ostensibly be spitting everywhere. Like a freak, dude. Just a fountain of saliva. And friends at school would be like, that just got on the back of my neck. You fucking, do you want me to beat your ass right now?
Yo, you don't want that one. That's a tough one. Yeah, you go to jail for a night. Fucking Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. You know what one is that I get whenever I'm driving is that I will close my eyes super hard for a minute. Yeah, and that one's terrifying.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Whenever I first started commuting back and forth from college, and a little bit before, I used to have to jerk the wheel while I drove.
Bruh.
Dude.
And so again, you know that you don't like, you know it's a bad idea, but you feel it in you, and so you're just gonna let that little one out and then keep going.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So you even like jerking the wheel and like closing your eyes, you can feel it coming. So, but you have to let it happen.
And it's like you really don't want to do it either.
But
It's like it's like you're physically compulsed, and like your brain cannot fight the urge.
What is it like in the brain though? Like, what's the malfunction in quotes? Because really, I mean, it's just what you are. But like a normal brain would do this, and then a brain that has this occurrence would do what? Like, I wonder what the difference is in
I don't
your
know,
brain.
dude. Because people like my mom was always like, you can't just like stop doing it.
Yeah, because it's
No,
hard to
dude,
understand.
sorry, man. Like it's not in my wiring. Like
Because like I know like that, you know, it's gotten more popular nowadays, like Tourette's, where you'd see people, because online, you know, people with Tourette's would like make it's gotten big on like TikTok and social medias where they would have Tourette's on camera, and then people see what it is.
Well, it goes all the way back to like, oh, Bob Saget.
Ah, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
The guy who popularized Tourette's.
Hell, the Tourette's guy.
Yeah.
That was his name.
Fuck you, kid. You're a dick. Yeah.
Dude, you think that was an actor? You think that was real?
Oh, I don't know.
Because it could have been either.
It could have been. I mean, you could look at it and be like, "That's performative."
But he also might have just been like.
He might have just been like that. Yeah, I don't
tough
know.
case of
That's
Tourette's.
hard telling.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit son he had to be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna make you internet famous while you wear that wife beater in your boxers all day."
And just call people fucking derogatory.
Yeah, man.
names.
Yeah.
That's what that guy's known for.
Yeah.
You're right. He's the OG Tourette's person. Yeah. Because I remember I saw that when I was younger, and there was like some MTV thing where they like had someone on Real World or not Real World, but True Life, Real Life, whatever that was.
Oh yeah, the real world.
There was Real World, but that was a show where they had a bunch of people in one house. I'm thinking of the show where they would show one like My Life As or something, and it would be a different person every week. I can't remember what it was called, but they
I don't
did
remember that one.
But there was a Tourette's person on there. I'm
I
pretty
always
sure.
wanted to like MTV because of like the lore of it from like the 80s and the 90s. And then by the time that we were kids, yeah, that era of MTV. But then whenever we were kids, it was all just reality shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like this era, the era my hat is like the 90s. That's when it was good. Yeah, because like once you hit the 2000s, it kind of like had the same thing that happened to the History Channel, where it just became something else.
Yeah,
like the History Channel at one
something
point
else
was
entirely.
history, and then it became Ancient Aliens 24/7.
Yeah. And now it's ridiculousness 24/7 on MTV.
Yep. And like, I don't know, because like
It was experimental.
yeah,
in
and
the
when
90s.
it was cool, like it was cool in a way that nothing else was cool. Like they would do interviews with musicians that you couldn't find anywhere else. I don't know what it was
Playing
that
music
killed.
videos on TV was awesome. And whenever I would try to watch MTV, it's like, where's the music, dude? It's like Jersey Shore just gave us like an iTunes trial of a song's length of a song.
Yeah.
While they're, like as they go from fucking to waking up in the morning. And then they'll like drop the name and the artist down there in the corner. But it's like, I want to listen to more than smush music, and also, can I get the whole experience here?
It's kind of sad.
This is not it's super sad.
Because there's no way there was not a market for
MTV
it.
following the money, dude. It's like, I mean, and they get to keep more money whenever it's like, we're just going to do reality shows. Like, it's the cheapest form of content to produce.
I think like Real World, Jersey Shore. The Real World's probably what really cracked that.
I think
for
that
them.
is the one that did it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It sealed the deal. It put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
It's that's just how it happens. That's how some success ruins a great thing. Truly.
Yeah, that was them adapting to the writer's strike.
Yeah. Was it really?
No, the rise of reality TV in the mid 2000s was a direct response to what had at that point been like the longest going writer's strike of all time.
Crazy.
Yeah. Remember whenever I was a big Cartoon Network kid, whenever I was there, I still love cartoons, but like I was watching that network well into like my teenage years and developing like critical opinions on new children's shows. But they did a period whenever it was like 2008 or 9 during that writer's strike, and they started doing reality television on Cartoon Network.
What was it? I don't remember.
They did they did Destroy, Build, Destroy with Andrew WK.
Yup.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did There was this one. Oh, they literally did like a Survivor knockoff.
No.
Starring, and the host was Les Stroud. That's the Man vs. Wild guy, right? That was my introduction to him. And now he's just hanging out with like a bunch of like preteens in the woods. And he's like...
On like a Boy Scout trip.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Now, it was co-ed, which might be weirder. But he's like, okay, we'll see how many of you guys are left before I have to teach you to drink your own pay.
What a great premise. You introduce the kids to the cold, harsh reality of survival.
Yeah. Oh, no, there was a ghost hunting one.
Oh, and it's all the writer's strike.
Yeah.
Like they had to just make stuff out of nothing, essentially. We
Yep.
don't have writers.
Yeah.
How are we going to do this?
We don't have writers, but we do have producers. Those guys aren't on strike.
Wow.
Producers can come up with premises.
How come that didn't happen this past strike around? That would have been awesome. A resurgence of reality TV.
Because it's already everywhere, dude.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
we
true.
already figured out reality TV. Like,
Yeah, it's played
Yeah.
out. Because like when it came around back then, it really was new. Like I mean, it wasn't what it is now. I mean, like I remember when like Ozzy Osbourne had a reality show and that was cool. Like nowadays, it's like everybody who cares. Like it's just some random.
it's sad
TikTok
when you get a
star.
reality show now.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
I mean, it's what is the new version of a reality? It's like cameos. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like the app Cameo, the thing. It's like the celebrity sends you like a voicemail.
Yeah,
like a
if
video
you're paying
voicemail.
Mark Wahlberg like $500 to tell your wife happy birthday, you might have a problem.
I did pay $70, maybe $90 for Colin Mockery of Whose Line Is It Anyway to tell my girlfriend happy birthday.
See, that's a cool one. It's
Yeah, I know,
Colin
right?
Mockery, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Colin.
See, like Cameo is a tough one because I don't know if it's cool or not. I can't figure it out. It seems like the moneymaker in me, the hustler in me says, hey, that's an
It's
avenue.
like a little cool. It's hack, but it's cool.
That's exactly it. It's hack, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Because there's like nothing really original about it. It's kind of gimmicky, but at the same time, like who doesn't
It's
want...
so gimmicky. It's just a cash grab, but like
Have you seen the guy from...
there are people that I would be absolutely tickled for to like hear them say my name.
Exactly.
And like wish me a personalized happy birthday.
I've seen so many memes come from that too, of like just getting celebrities to say random shit. You
Yeah.
know, like have you seen the Dean Norris ones from Hank from Breaking
Yeah,
Bad?
I know Dean Norris.
Where he's like, hey, shout out to so and so. I love to play Minecraft. I hope you're having a Sigma Wednesday, and it'll be like Dean
I haven't
Norris.
seen that one, but that's so funny.
And that's it. He'll do it. He'll do like all
Yeah.
these random meme messages. So like stuff like that too. That's really fun. I mean, yeah, who doesn't love it, dude? If you don't love it, you gotta get a good one. That's what I think.
Yeah.
There's a celebrity out there for you that if you got a cameo from them, like if fucking Conor McGregor messaged you and told you to have a cool Tuesday. I'm trying to think of like who it would be for me. Who would I
have a Skibbity Wednesday from Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor. Yo, it's 2025, baby. I'm thinking like if I got who would be like unbelievable. So if it was like Mike Tyson and he like was on it and he was like, "Hey Ruth, I love you, Ruth. You're the best, Ruth." Yeah, I want like him to say the S so many times.
Yeah.
That would really make my day. I would want the message to be like Mike Tyson shouting out Ruth's radio, but like a bunch of broken like that would probably be it. That'd be my one. Yeah.
That would be your one?
Or Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Actually, I'm
Okay.
changing it. Tom Cruise for
All
sure.
right.
That's my final answer.
I don't know that I have a dream. Oh, actually, maybe Michael Cera.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
love Michael Cera.
That's a good one. Because you know what? You know he would be Michael Cera in the cameo, too.
Yeah.
He would be in character, just being Michael Cera like he always is. Yeah, right? That's actually a great choice. That's why I picked Tom Cruise. Because Tom Cruise is so Tom Cruise, just like Michael Cera is so Michael Cera. Like, it's going to be personalized.
Oh, man, but how much would it suck to be Tom Cruise and get like another like... Actually, well, I guess it's probably like $1,000, probably a few $1,000s, but it's still like, okay, wish him happy birthday, but jump up and down on your couch whenever you do it. And he's like, God, when did I become this one-note guy?
There's probably a lot of that on Cameo.
Yeah.
Like random people realizing their true place in the world.
Yeah, which is to just do the gimmick over and over again. All right, Dave Chappelle, can you wish my girlfriend a happy birthday and then also make a trans joke in there? Like a hacky one, like one that isn't even good. You know, the way that you do it.
The way we all love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, you could be on the show to defend yourself.
Yeah.
I'll let you in. You can hang out with me.
And also, like, I've loved you for years, and I've watched that 3.5 hour thing more than anything else that I watched all through college.
I think that's what's so fun about comedy is that there is like an amount of ribbing that is allowed, though. Like, I think comics more than anyone understand when you're criticizing them. Like, a lot of art, it's not as accepted, but I think comedy is naturally like it's a knife fight, dude. Like everybody is trying to get better, and so when someone's not good enough, they're gonna go hard on you.
I've never done roast battle before, but God, I need to.
I like it. Yeah. I like I've always, whenever I bring it up, I always say like it reminds me of the competitive nature you see in hip hop and the like rap battling and all of that. It's the same type of pressure that makes you have to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like. There's some people who are so good at those roast battles, like so good.
I like watching them because it's fun because it makes like the people that you know in the scene be like a celebrity while they're on there.
Yeah, in what way?
Because it's like a production that people watch and they are acting like they are being filmed because they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in like everybody's watching them. For a lot of them, it's like the biggest audience that they have up until this point.
How big is the audience? I don't even know.
Roast battle?
Yeah.
They do it at Zanies. I don't know if it sells out.
I actually haven't been to Zanies yet. How big is the room?
I haven't been to Zanies.
Oh, because I just wonder what the capacity is if it's sold out. I mean, because if we're talking like hundreds, that's a lot.
I mean, it used to. Well, I mean, go figure. Most open mic comics haven't done it for more than 50 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think of the most people that I've ever played to.
Yeah, because that big
Fuck,
room.
it's probably embarrassing the more I think about it. Have I ever gotten lucky with like
I have once.
Like a considerable sized room? No, I mean, there's probably been like maybe like 40 people in the room at Shuba's before or something. And I've done a couple of like actual shows, but like, God, sometimes it's sadder to do like a show that pays you because because the audience that is there is so few and far in between. And it's like, you know what? This would have been a lot more fun if you did not pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
why so few people are here. Like, you got suckered into paying $15 to see this asshole who found a stage, like, hire their friends for the weekend, and now he's giving them your money just so he can network with them.
Yeah. Like, you're the sucker for being here.
Yeah.
You and your 5 other friends that are all showing up.
But I mean, this is what people say when they don't get booked. Also, that's crucial.
Don't shoot the messenger. What is the phrase I'm looking for? Consider the source, folks. Consider the source. But I would say that like for one, I would try, if it were me and I went up and it were just 3 or 5 people, what I always think in my brain is I flip it the other way. And I think like, you know what, like I'm still going to give my best for these 3 or 5 people because if I do, they're going to remember me for that. Like, damn, there's not that many people here. Nobody really showed up, but he's still giving me 100%. Like, this guy's an actual, there's something going on here. Because, like, sometimes you'll just see these 3 people and you're like, oh, shit.
Oh, dude,
phone
no.
it in.
Me and fucking Tim Watson were running a show on the deep southwest side. It was, like, 61st and Midway. Like, literally across the street from the airport at this, like, Polish pierogi bar. And there would be a couple weeks where we had, like, 25 people in the room. And they didn't pay to be there, but, like, they did donate at the end. And we were able to pay the comics pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, like $30-$40 every now and then. But there were a couple times that, like, there would be 3 people in the room because nobody is there for comedy. And then at that point, it's like, don't even pass the hat around. Like, I'll pay them out of my pocket.
The hat of shame.
Yeah, the hat of shame. Literally begging. Actually begging. It's like, we'll do jokes for food.
That's how it feels.
Yeah.
But with Roast Battle, going back to that, big audience, and for those guys it does kind of what I really like about it is that they, like you said, it comes off as an actual production, and I want to have the people who are involved in it in here. I want to ask them questions for real because they do it really well. They know what they're doing, and like that's what the scene any scene needs is things like that, where people are not only putting on a good production, but they're putting it all out and putting content out and actually making it easily accessible.
Yeah.
That's the point of something like this, is it makes comedians easily accessible.
Yeah.
Like, you need to show everyone who everyone is and put everybody's face right up in the spotlight and post constantly and all that. And like, that is so good for the community in a way that you don't even realize until you're well along the way.
Dude, that's the point of that open mic taping thing that I'm trying to get going right now. We've taped 2 shows. One of them was the Glenwood one that you were at, and then we just did Poor Decisions the other night on like Fullerton and Lincoln. And I just feel like that is the most interesting part of the process. I feel like even whenever open mics suck, it's like the good ones are better than almost every show in Chicago, because they're not giving you like their most polished material. They are having fun with the room. They're feeling the energy, and like the stakes are on the ground, so they'll just do anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, there's just a freedom to it, and I love seeing like the guys that run the mic and their group of friends get up there and feel so at liberty to goof off in ways that like just charm the entire audience. Just get everybody on their side, because we know that like this is just, we sit around here and we come up with stuff, you know? You get in there and you cook, and to watch everybody react to like jokes that aren't even actually that good, but in the moment they are so funny in ways that like you'll never be able to do on a show. Yeah, that's the shit that I would like to show to people. I think
there's
that's
something
the most,
raw about it.
That's the most exciting part of the scene.
Yeah, but it's something that's hard to translate, because like most of the people that go to that are just comedians, and not every open mic's even a great mic. So say you take someone to an open mic trying to give them that experience, and then it's not quite that.
Oh, yeah.
Because not every mic's gonna be that.
Yeah.
But like the best nights, you don't know when they're coming. You don't know when it's gonna be like a gold mine of an open mic, or even. But I think that you're so right about something about like there's something about it that fosters creativity. In a space like that, you can feel
recklessness, dude.
Yeah, and you need that. You need that to
Yeah.
like keep you motivated. What my favorite thing about open mics is when somebody comes out and what they're doing is something they could only do in this room at this open mic.
Yeah.
Like, and there's just it's like a magic moment, and that's truly what the best comedy, the best art is capturing some magic moment somehow. So that's just so cool to see.
That's why I'm going after specifically the ones with like a lot of character. Like the Glenwood, it's like inarguable that it is not even like a good room, but it has so much character. The people that go there, it's like this group of like beatnik poor Northsiders that are congregating in this queer bar on one of the nicest little strips of businesses in the city, like Glenwood Ave. Is that what it is? It's just a walkway. It's just that old brick pathway
right off that Morse Red Line stop.
Yeah, man. Yeah, right off of Morse, and it's a wonderful spot. And yeah, it's like the comedy that goes on there is like largely not even good, but like there's still so much personality in the room that it is worth showcasing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good example of like that prevailing, right? Like it's not all about like having the best space and everything being perfect. Really, it's just about the energy that's in there.
Yeah.
Because that's what attracted me to there after I went the first time, is I just felt like the exact thing you just described. Like this place is definitely not perfect. Like there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it could have functioning equipment.
Yes.
That would be nice.
And you know what's so funny is it's like a recurring gag. You'll see comics go up there at the open mic and literally talk shit about the sound and roast it. And everybody in the audience laughs because they know it's true.
Yeah.
And then nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
And let me just say, too, I talked to the guy who set up the sound in that space. So he actually runs, because I was hanging out there after the open mic a week or two ago, and his name's Joe, if I got it correct. He runs a gay bar down in Boys Town now called Cell Block Chai. And he told me that when he set up the sound there...
That's a hilarious name for a gay bar.
Cell Block Chai.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there actually once, which is funny, because I was hanging out with a gay friend, and he wanted to go to a bar so bad, and I just happened to end up in that bar.
That's what you grew the mustache out for.
Yeah, literally that place, you know. The gay guys do approach me with this mustache. It is true.
The shaft tickler.
Yes. There's just something about it that speaks volumes. I never knew it was that, but now I'm going to think shaft tickler every time I look in the mirror. So anyway, yeah, so I was talking to him, and he told me that whoever's running the sound must not know what they're doing because it's the simplest thing in the world. Like, it's literally, you're just turning on the mixer and then you're going over there and turning the other thing on and you're plugging the microphone in. That's what he told me. It's on the record here, folks, okay? So if that's all it takes, then I don't understand how that goes wrong, because I've been told that it's been bad for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just like, bro, how? And like, I've even had multiple people on this show say like, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's like, come on. At what point do you like...
Does the community adopt like the dog with no legs and we all start feeding it together?
That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
It's like, let's give the dog some legs. It's possible.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you go there the next day. On Wednesday, they have a music open mic, and all those speakers that are sitting there not being used...
They work,
and they're being used. And you're like, wait a minute. What's going on here?
Oh, man.
It sounds good in here all of a sudden. And like, it's all big all of a sudden. Like, it's like the sound projects into the room and it's clear. And so when you experience that, it's kind of hard to forget it. And I wish that room just had good audio, because like we just said, there's such good energy in there.
Yeah.
If you just fix that,
Yeah.
you will attract so many more people into that space.
Yeah.
Because right now it's only like 10, 15 people a lot of the time. You could up those numbers. You just got to make it a little more attractive. You know, you gotta lead the room with the audio. Because I'm into music. Like that's what you get people into it with, is the sound. You know, like the half of it is them being on stage and saying what you're saying, but the other half, majority of it really, is the sound. And also the other part that I feel bad about it for is it's comedy in particular. So you have comedians who they'll go up and they'll just, maybe their natural delivery is this.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just how I do it. And maybe it's funnier when I talk like this. And in a room with good sound where they can blow this up,
it hits.
this might hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's not like that and I have to project and
Just cross your name off the
transform-
list, dude. Go somewhere else.
Exactly. And I'll hear some comics say you have to adapt and you should be able to perform anywhere, but I don't know. Because you go somewhere with like quality sound, which is where you're trying to end up anyway.
Yeah, right?
So,
yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and I wouldn't call it unprofessional for some people to not be able to do comedy with no mic.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's good to adapt. That's generally a skill that we want to all have. But if adapting to that directly gets in the way of the way that you are best at delivering your jokes, then it's counterintuitive.
Yeah. And so there's like, of course, the truth is always in the middle. Everything is gray. The truth really is that, yes, you should adapt, but also good sound.
Yeah.
Good sound, dude. It works volumes. And and again, that room could excel. That's why I'm passionate about it, because it's like you really could foster something amazing if you just picked at that. And like, I don't even think there's much you have to do. That's the part that drives me nuts. There's speakers literally sitting there.
Dude, there's like a pile of them.
I know. Like,
There's so many.
like literally looks like you're about to have a whole ass concert in
And
that room.
Naboo was always just like, yeah, they don't work. And it's like, I feel like they work, otherwise somebody would have thrown them away.
I think
They would have been donated or repaired. There's
there
no
for
way they're
looks.
just broken.
They're just
Yeah.
decoration.
Part of the vibe. Yeah.
to create the illusion of sound.
Yeah. It's the aesthetic.
Oh man. I'm hoping Naboo will like peruse through my podcast and just see me talking shit. It's like this has happened multiple times now where he'll get brought up and I just can't help myself. Like, Naboo, please, dear God, I'm begging you. Just fix it.
I'm pretty sure it's about to not be their job anymore.
Why you say that?
They told me that they have to move.
She mentioned that, but she said that she was trying to keep the mic. That's what she said when she said
Yeah,
to
that
me.
doesn't make any sense. I don't know how. In Naboo, I love you to death, but like, don't try and control the mic from a state away.
Oh, she's
Like,
moving a state away.
Yeah.
Where's she moving to?
Wisconsin, I believe, either Wisconsin or Michigan.
Oh, I must have
I
misunderstood.
think that's where their family is, but I'm probably not remembering it correctly right now.
Damn, I must have misunderstood
Maybe
that.
is it Ann Arbor? Is that the? It's probably wrong.
Wow. Oh, damn, that's a plot twist.
Yeah.
So who gets the mic? How does that work? If she
They offered
can't
it-
maintain grip, how does it happen?
They offered it to me with Eliza Bent is also going to like co-parent it in a way.
Who, Naboo offered it to you, or
Yeah.
Oh, so she is passing the reins over, passing the torch over already. Because I thought she had told me she was trying to keep it, but if she's telling you that, then she's not.
I think she's trying to keep some ownership of it, as like, you know, the executive producer or whatever like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I don't know that they're necessarily the ones for that. Yeah, it just being that they're the producer now and they can't figure out how to work the sound. You know.
This is where Ruse
Again, love you to death.
tries his very
Love
best
you
to
to
be
death.
nice. You know what I mean?
Love you to death.
Because
Genuinely.
remember what I was telling you
Great
before
friend to have.
about how I try to have my political, you know, I try to maintain that. At a certain point, you do have to say the audio is bad. You got to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, at a certain point,
Something needs to be done. But
Yeah.
honestly, truly, they are not the one to fix it.
no.
It's new ownership that kind of needs to happen because they just don't have the means for it, dude. They're broke. Like, so broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. If you're broke, yes. But the difference is that the equipment is there, and it's just a matter of logistics. Like, even if you brought in a sound person, like you just say to a sound person, "Hey, I'll pay you. Just show up and tell me how this works."
Yeah.
Then someone could show you the way. Like, if you really don't want to learn all that, the difference is that the equipment is there. Because when I had her try to show me, I remember the way she was explaining it was confusing me, and I knew if I just had someone, the guy who set it up,
Yeah.
like I literally did. Or if I had someone else, they could explain it in a lot simpler terms. Because
Some
it can't
stuff
be
is
that
not
complicated.
that complicated.
No, and if you're taking over, I'm glad I just told you.
You just need like the right amount of chords.
Yeah,
Truly.
I will. If that is the case, that you end up being one of the people in charge of the mic, I will gladly help you get this thing figured out because I want it to be
I'm
better.
sure you have like an XLR and a 1/4-inch cable that's ready to go somewhere around here that you could donate.
I don't
Like,
even think it. Yeah, I do, but I don't even think. I think all the equipment is already there because I asked the people on Wednesday. I was like, "How do you do this? Like, if you're able to do this, how?" And they told me all they do is they bring in a laptop with because they actually film it and then they record the audio and they post some of the videos with like clear audio. So
Yeah,
they're even like doing it like you could live stream what they're doing if they wanted.
At the one that I was taping the other day, there was a dude in there that told me that they do one on Wednesdays.
That's what I'm
too.
talking about.
And I was like, "What? How did I not know about this at all?"
And if you go there, honestly, if you end up having to work with that audio, I'd recommend going on Wednesday because you'll see exactly what they're doing. You can even ask the guy. I forget his name, but it's him and a girl named Prabha. Hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Prabha Ketterman. Don't shoot me.
That's a hard one to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever
Prabha's
it's
a
the
good
first time that you've heard a name, it's like I think you said the other guy's name was Joe. It was like I would forget Joe's name also.
Cell Block Chai Joe is how I remember.
Yeah.
Some about Cell Block Chai just doesn't leave my mind. But so I would just recommend going there then because once you see it and once you see again, I don't think they're bringing anything special but a laptop and an interface. And once that's plugged in, everything else is running through that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I think the dude was a little bit drunk and also busy when I tried to ask him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it can't be complicated. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure the folks are real interested in all this talk right here.
Well, it's got legs, that mic.
It does have legs. It does have legs, and you put
it just need its knees replaced.
Exactly. It's like there's so much potential. It's like you see somebody and you know he's in the wrong neighborhood, but he's like the wisest guy you've ever met, and you're like, please, like I'm telling you, stop hanging out with those Crips. Like you have potential.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like them, but if you change now, you won't be. You know. You got to turn that ship around.
Have to reach these kids.
Because what I worry is people will continue going to a mic like that, and then they continue to see, oh, that's not going to change. And even though people are generally nice and generous, they're going to get kind of like, they'll just go to another mic. They'll be like, oh, I'm just going to go somewhere else. And it's like you said before, there's so many mics every day.
Yeah.
It's not like you don't have competition.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. But oh man, we went way longer than I thought we would.
Yeah, man, went long as hell. You said 2 hours, and I was like, shit, do I have 2 hours?
It looks like you had 3.5.
It does look like that. Not mad about it.
Cool, man. I mean, like, I truly, when the episode goes well over 2, that means it was a great conversation.
Yeah, right?
You know? So I had a great time.
Had fun, Ruse.
Hell yeah. And we'll have you on again sometime. We'll make
Gladly.
it happen. You can be a Ruse Radio regular for all I care. We need a couple more of those.
This is the most I've talked in maybe a year.
Yeah, I have that curse. I pull that out of people. For better or worse, you know, they leave this apartment and they're like, "What happened to me?"
Felt good for me.
Yeah,
yeah. Was it good for you too?
Oh yeah, I love doing this, dude. I would do this. I do this anyway off camera.
Yeah.
You saw how I was before we started. I'm constantly podcasting. I just don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So you know, I
think a good place to keep your brain at though, because
Yes.
I'm always just shutting my mouth.
Yeah. You know what? My theory on it is I think you learn the most about yourself through talking to other people. I think that's why you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like you think that you can shut your mouth and just form all these ideas, but the truth is that it's really through speaking that you realize what you really think.
Yeah.
You know,
what
like,
you stand for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever these just start to be the words that start falling out of your mouth, it's like, didn't realize I felt that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how that works because it's so real, you know? And what's cool about a podcast or a conversation is that you can never predict what it's going to be. Like you don't actually know. And so things do just fall out of your mouth.
sir.
You could, if you don't plan it and you allow it to be like a free flowing thing, you'd be amazed. But you know, that's where the magic happens in my opinion. Yeah. That's when you get the 3.5 hours is through doing that, letting it all fall out. So
let it ride.
Yeah, man. And I think the other thing I was going to say is I think it's therapeutic in a way. Like, I think it's cool. For one, that's why I started doing interviews in the first place. I realized I could provide that. Because, I mean, like, it's therapeutic for me, but I'm just sure. Because, like what you just said, it's the most you talked in a year. Just for people coming through and doing something like that. Because a lot of podcasts, what they're doing is they're trying to put on a show and they're trying to do a thing. And I think, like, if you just have that open reins type deal, you're just cool.
Do not come in with, like, any expectation or, like, an outline of things you want to talk about.
Yep. At least as minimal as possible, you know? Because sometimes you might want a little something, but even then, keep it minimal. Yeah. Because you just don't want to put guardrails on everything. And like, I think that
it inhibits possibility.
It's like those great open mics where you can feel that raw energy of people just being able to do whatever they want. It's like the same thing. It's like that compared to a show. Whereas
take
like,
those bumpers down, dude. The ball wants to go in the gutter.
Yeah, exactly.
That's its home, dude.
Yes, and there's something nice about that, about letting it go in the gutter and riding on that and just being cool with it and not be worrying about it and trying to be perfect and get a strike every single time. Yeah. And
There's no value. You're never going to win a game of bowling if you're rolling strikes every time.
No,
dude, no.
You'll never win like that.
No.
Yeah, you'll just be
You
some
gotta bowl
asshole.
like David Lynch.
Just get strike after strike and say that's the way it's meant to be.
Yeah.
That's the David Lynch method.
Yeah.
Just strike out the whole time and say that was a good game, you know? Because that's the beauty of it. And so when you have people in and they get to do that, I think there's something super therapeutic about that. And I think that I learned that about myself at one point in life, that I just have that. I can get people to do that, you know? So that's why I love doing it, And that's my role in this world, folks. And that's why you need to support us on Patreon, okay? Because this shit ain't free, okay? This shit ain't free. So, all right, he'll take his socks off and he'll show you his feet on the Patreon.
On the Patreon. Yeah, this is what you're missing.
Look at those.
Okay.
Look at those honkers.
Yep. And now this is where it becomes the paywall. On the other side.
Oh my God! So much.
Yeah,
so much.
Really
suspense.
stretches farther than I thought it did.
Ooh!
Yeah. All right. Yep. So you're gonna have to blur that. For the sake of the YouTube.
On the Patreon, that's where they get to see the foot reveal. I can't believe that, folks. That was our first real foot reveal on Ruse Radio. I've teased the foot reveals with multiple guests.
Really?
You're the first person to really show the foot, man.
You're showing yours right now.
Because I'm a brave folk.
We could have made them hug.
Yeah, well, that's for next time.
Yeah,
that's for next time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay?
Yeah. This was the single X rated version. That's the triple X.
I mean, I'm getting a little nervous now. My feet are.
Well, that's okay. I'll wear protection.
Oh, all right. Well, you're wearing protection right now. You got 2 good old gloves on.
No, I mean a foot condom.
Oh, that's basically what a sock is, isn't it?
No, one made of latex.
Oh, they okay.
They don't make those.
They can. We can request one. Can you imagine a foot condom?
Put in a request to Durex.
Be like, we need this.
I have special instructions. You know those weird shoes that have the toes in them? You get where I'm going with this.
I actually really like that idea. And I'm sure it hasn't been done yet, so there's potential there. Folks, if this episode is like a year old, find our next episode. There might be a foot condom in it. Okay. Yep. And if so, it's over for me. My life is complete. I can just clock out there. I have a couple goals in life now. Hot Ones, got to be on Hot Ones with Sean Evans. Got to wear a foot condom at least once.
You'll get there.
I think those two things are achievable.
Yeah.
And with that being said, folks, Ruse Radio, clocking out.
And we're out.
Flow shit is back, yo, timing is up. Flow shit is back, no rhyming, it sucks. Why? Flow shit is back, wrote mine in the Dutch. Dope shit is back, flow shit is back. Wide MC, what the fuck is friendly? You'll be saying dumb shit, cup is when it's empty. I be on the dark side, you don't wanna tempt me. Even if the car died, I be on the 10th street. Been on my own since the day I was a kid.